Welcome to Spartan Stadium in East Lansing. It is the 21st annual Michigan High School Football Coaches Association All-Star Game, the East versus the West. It is gorgeous here in East Lansing, 80 degrees, sunny and warm is the forecast. The players are going to be hot, but they don't care. They're happy to be here. And so are we. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Champion, along with former Grand Valley State star and Detroit Lion Rob Rubick. We mentioned how happy they are to be here, but the process, not as easy as it sounds.
It's not as easy as it sounds, and it takes a little bit of help from their friends, mainly their high school coach, who starts the nominating process back late in the fall. In January, a committee of all-star coaches meets and starts to fill out the respective rosters. There's a minimum of 8 players from Class A, 6 from B, 4 from C, and 2 from D schools on each side.
So they try to balance this thing out a little bit, and do they balance it with the best players in the state? Are they here, Rob?
I think so, Mark. You got to remember they've had 98% acceptance of the bid since this game has begun.
And, of course, as a result, that means that the colleges and universities are well represented, Rob.
Oh, my, look at the league I used to play in, the Great Lakes Conference, with 21 players represented today. We're going to be catching the Big Ten here shortly.
Well, the Big Ten has 8 on the East alone, which you would think would make them perhaps a favorite. Well, maybe not, because Saginaw Valley has 8 players. 2 of those could easily have been Division I players. We'll talk more about that as the game continues. Well, our partner down in the field who is taking the direct hit from the sun and enjoying it is Jennifer Hammond. Jennifer?
All right, thank you very much, Mark. And if you think it's 80 degrees and hot upstairs, come down onto the field about 10 degrees warmer, although, as you can see from my hair, there's a little bit of a breeze that might keep things a little bit cooler for the teams. Of course, speed always a huge factor when you're talking about the best of the best in high school football, and there's a great battle today at quarterback, a battle of the Matts, if you will. They're both 6'3". It is Matt Baker from the East, from Brother Rice, and as well, his counterpart on the West squad is Matt Bonet, and they both say that today is going to be a great matchup.
We got some guns at receiver, some tall guys and some fast guys, and it's a lot easier. The margin of error, you can have a greater one out here than you can, say, back at your high school team, and they'll make you look good out here.
We're pretty quick. I think all the guys, you know, we all really want to win this game, West versus East. There's been some trash talk here and there, and I think, you know, everybody here is really motivated, and everybody works real hard. And I think that'll help us out. Everybody's willing to learn and learn a different offense that we're trying to learn, and people are really picking up on it quick.
And, of course, Matt Bonet is headed to Iowa for college. One of the players that he admired when he was growing up was Joe Montana. As for Matt Baker, he's heading out of state to the University of North Carolina. He'll be a Tar Heel. When he was growing up, though, ironically enough, it was a player right here at the University of Michigan that he admired, and that was Brian Greasy. So they both have great role models. Mark?
Okay, Jennifer, thanks a lot. Not only are the players very proud and happy to be here, so are the coaches. And the head coach of the East squad is Tom Hoover, who's been the head man at Allen Park for the last, since 1996. In fact, his quarterback is on the East roster, so that makes him even happier, but he is proud to be the coach.
It's an honor to work with the best of these kids, and the thing that not only are these kids good football players, but they're great kids as well. The attitude has been wonderful, and they're fun to be around, and really enjoyable to work with them as people as well.
Well, that's Tom who's going to try to end a 2-game losing streak here today, Rob Rubick, but his counterpart is ready for the challenge.
Well, they went and got Bob Myers. He's playing a home game today, the head coach at Lansing Sexton since 1986, 8 conference championships. He's been in the coaching profession since 1972. So we got an old-timer who might have a few tricks up his sleeves, and he's extremely happy to be here.
This is a special opportunity for both the coaching staff and the players. It's a really special opportunity. We emphasize that every day to the kids, and I think we're telling ourselves the same thing when we say it. I want them to understand that this is a special opportunity, that they are chosen few, and this is something that they can take a lifetime of memories away from.
Well, the players are ready, the coaches are ready, we're ready, we hope you are. It should be an exciting game here this afternoon at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, the East versus the West. The West has captured the last 2 by big scores, 35-9 and 28-17. The kickoff is coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back to Spartan Stadium in East Lansing. We're set for the kickoff. The West won the toss, and they will indeed receive the football here this afternoon on a gorgeous day. It is all even. This game really carries a lot of extra meaning at 10-10. The West has won the last two by big scores, 35-9, and last year in a bit of an upset, 28-17. So we're set to go. Dave Rayner will kick it off for the East. He's got a strong foot. Marcus Ewing back there with Harrison, the deep men for the West. As you can tell, the East in the white uniforms and the West in the red. Here we go. Line drive kick and a deep one going all the way through the end zone, and that'll be a touchback out to the 20-yard line. So the kickers today could be, Rob Rubik, an issue here we'll talk about. Both kickers are good. Both kickers are headed to Michigan State. Let's take a look at the West offense here this afternoon. Tony Michalonis. It's a big offensive line for the West as well as the East, but in particular the West. They go 307, 290, 275, and 283. They are big. We'll get the rest of it in a moment. First down play, and it's the option toss off the right to Jerome Harrison. And Harrison is driven out of bounds. We got a flag down on the field at about the 26-yard line. Harrison, 5'11", 180, out of Kalamazoo Central, headed to Eastern Michigan. And the penalty is going to come up against the East. The referee is Jim Stein. So an early penalty in this football game. There are some different rules in the game we'll talk about as well. Here's a look at the East defense. The front three, they are allowed to play a standard 5-2 defense. The linebackers, Steve Bednarik, there's a great football name from the past. He's on the inside. And the secondary, Marcus Ewing, who was one of the return men. So we are set to go. The ball all the way out to the 41-yard line after the penalty mark-off. Carlton Brewster is the quarterback, a 6-footer out of Grand Rapids, Creston. And off the draw again, up to the 49-yard line goes Harrison. Tackle made by John DeGiorgio, and he is a terrific linebacker headed to Saginaw Valley State. He's coming off a leg injury, and there is a look at Harrison, who has impressed the coaches a great deal in practice this week, Rob.
Well, they've been impressing with his tremendously quick feet. There was a great runner back a few years ago named Benny Clark from Ravenna, and I was talking to one of the coaches, Dusty from Ravenna, and he was saying that this young man, Harrison, feet are even quicker than Benny. He was the all-time rushing leader in the state of Michigan.
That's saying a lot. Second down, short yardage, and they'll run it. Short yardage carry off the left side by the fullback, Jimmy Steins. Steins out of Milan. And he played for Steve Robb there, headed for Western Kentucky. Another tackle by DeGiorgio, and we said he's headed to Saginaw Valley State, and he is a good one.
He's a steal. He's a young man that probably would have went D1, except in his last game as a senior with Utica Eisenhower in the state finals. He got hurt, sent him back, turned all the scouts off on the college scouts, but I think he's going to be a diamond in the rough.
Had a broken leg, but there was no damage to the knee or the ankle. It was a toss to Harrison again, and he is derailed at midfield. Curtis Watkins getting in there, the strong safety who had 6 interceptions this past season, playing for Detroit Pershing. One of the A schools represented here this afternoon.
We were talking earlier coming in, Mark, about how each squad is made up of a certain amount of kids from each team. And there's a look right here, but 8 Class A minimum, but you're going to see the majority of the squad, when they get their at-large, are going to be from the bigger schools.
Of course, the West and the East have quite a rivalry, as we said. 10-10, back to throw, and the pass goes a little bit high. That ball may have been tipped as John DeGiorgio, dropping back in his linebacker spot, may have gotten a hand on that one. Intended for Wofford White. Malachi Wofford White out of Kalamazoo Loy Norix. Third down play coming up. Third down and 13. It's the opening drive of the 21st Coaches Association All-Star Game, West and the East. Some of the best players, if not the best, in the state of Michigan. Motion to the right. Back to throw. Brewster flushed up. He'll try to run it and is brought down. And guess who got him again? John DeGiorgio. He had 3 tackles in that series, Rob.
Well, John's a player. He had an opportunity to play in high school with his brother Joe at Utica Eisenhower, and these two single-handedly kept Utica Eisenhower in the state final game last year against Grand Ledge. And when he went out, Matt Bonet, we saw him do his magic and bring the Ledge back behind and score 2 late touchdowns for the championship.
Excellent punter Andy Roy will kick it deep. Grant Mason and Chris Roberson are back there. Fair catch signaled for high up in that wind. It takes a west bounce, and it is down back up at the 29-yard line by Chad Steele. So that's where the East will take it over for the first time this afternoon on the offensive side of the football. Matt Baker will come out. He's the quarterback out of Brother Rice. There's a look at the East offense. Anthony Miles, the center. Kahari Stewart, they've got a great receiving core. They are all about 6'3", 6'4". Matt Baker, the quarterback, and Gittler is an excellent back for them as well. Motion man to the left. And the run up to the 35-yard line. Steve Bednarigan on the stop on Jack Gittler, a man I just mentioned out of Berkeley High School. He's a big kid, 6'3", 240. Three-press all north on defense as well as offense. Let's take a look at the West defense here this afternoon. Atla Piccolo, Jeff Jones, the linebacking core. Bozzi and DeGiorgio lead that group. And Chris Roberson, the best cover man out there, playing the corner spot for the West. Draw play. Good hole off the left side. All the way up near the 49-yard line goes Chris Lamazny. Big carry there for Lamazny, who was out of Chippewa Valley, 5'9", 195. And his coach, Mike Carr, said if he's not going to go all the way, he's going to die trying.
That's what you want. You want that. You can look right here. Get through the hole. It's a little counter tray. Lamazny shows excellent acceleration, and that's what you're looking for. And Michigan Tech's going to be very happy when that young man gets up there, if he can handle the cold up in Houghton. That's the big key.
Yeah, for everybody. Play fake, rolling right. Baker throwing on the run. Got his big receiver out there for the catch. And it's hauled in by Braylon Edwards, who's headed to Ann Arbor to play for the University of Michigan as he hauls it in near the 38-yard line. First down, tackle made by Jeff Carlson out of West Ottawa.
Well, you're going to see the passing attacks excel a little bit here this afternoon, because one of the rules that's put in specifically for this game is no blitzing. So you're going to be able to bring 4 people up front with this big offensive lineman. You're going to have a hard time getting penetration. They roll Baker out that time, throw a little boot pass. Well executed.
No score yet, 8:17 to go in the opening quarter. Baker hands off, and Lamazny's driven back at about the 34-yard line. Good interior play. Led by Colby Dykehouse out of Grand Haven, 6'4", 230-pound linebacker who's good size. We talked about the size really on both sides of the football for both teams. Baker, the quarterback, is 6'3". He's out of Brother Rice and had 18 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions for Al Percasa. That's pretty good. Receiving core to the size we talked about for the East. They go 6'6", 6'4", 6'4". That is huge. The eye, the fake draw. He's hit as he throws on a post pattern incomplete. Baker was nailed as he let that one go, as he was hit by Scott Berriger out of Whittemore Prescott.
Well, that time the East, Baker's little play action pass. They come off the draw action. He's looking for the skinny post to Kittles down the middle of the field, but it wasn't there. And a good pressure by Berriger coming off a state championship for Whittemore Prescott. Outstanding athlete, finishing up his career there. He's going to move on, I believe, to Elma College.
So a third down play coming up. 3rd and about 7. Lamazny now moves out in a slot to the top of your screen. And man in motion is Jason Kittle. Baker back flushed out of the pocket. There should have been a holding penalty there. Got away with it. Throwing back across his body. Very dangerous decision by Baker. Got away with it, incomplete, but he also got the offensive lineman got away with a pretty good hold there.
Here's a look at Matt Baker. Good size, heading to University of North Carolina. I'll tell you right now, when he gets down there in the first practice, and Mac Brown, the head coach down there, he does that type of rollout, throw him back against the green. He's going to be carrying the water for a while before you can let him back on the field. That's a very dangerous pass. But also in a game like this, Mark, you can take some chances. You're out there to play, freewheel it a little bit, you know, and Matt trying to show that he's got some running ability to get to the outside, but he's pretty much a pure drop-back passer.
We saw last year Jermaine Gonzalez, the fine quarterback out of Orchard Lake, who struggled in this game. And again, the rules changes. We got a field goal try coming up, 51-yard effort coming up. Try to get the East on the board. Dave Rayner. And he kind of chipped that, got underneath it. I do that with a golf club occasionally. So the kick by is no good, and the East comes away empty-handed. The West will take it over with 7:15 to go. Disappointed Dave Rayner headed to Michigan State. He'll be kicking here someday, he hopes. It's scoreless. Summer day in East Lansing, it's scoreless here in the first quarter of the High School Football Coaches Association All-Star Game. Down on the field, Jennifer Hammond. Jen?
All right, thanks very much, guys. And obviously the big thing down here as the West offense gets back on the field, the thing that they were talking about after they first came off for their first series is to dominate the line. They said all in all they did a good job. They think it might have been some opening drive jitters, and they're hoping for a little more success this time around. Mark?
Well, the West in the All-Star Game last year jumped out to a 14-0 lead. In fact, shut out the East in the first half of that football game, won at 28-17. Let's see what we got in store here this afternoon, as the West will get it for the second time in this football game. And they're going to try to run it again up to the 28-yard line.
Ken Palkowski, the West ball carrier.
Ken Palkowski out of Lowell High School, headed to Northwood, is the ball carrier. And again, the way the rules are set up here, each player has to play approximately a half of the football game, so you're going to see a lot of shuttling in and out. There's a good look at Carlton Brewster, the 6-footer out of Grand Rapids Creston. He missed 3 games his senior year because of a knee injury. Second down and a couple. Try to run it off the left defensive side, and Bart Bennett didn't go anywhere. John Wester, the first man to him out of Romulus, and Matt LaPiccolo, the left defensive tackle, made the stop as well.
Well, right now the West is just trying to get a little bit of flow offensively. They came with the fullback trap, and then they come back the next play, Mark. They just fake the fullback trap, give to the tail going off counter to the right side. Early in the game, just kind of a feeling out process for both coaches. You're not going to open it up too much, and you kind of get a sense how we're going to match up with the big fellas.
Tony Scheffler, the receiver, at the top of your screen. Motion man is Clifton Quinn. Out of the eye, rolling right, Brewster dropping back. Good block by the fullback, but not enough blocking, as he is dropped for a big loss by Mohamed Bazi, one of the better linebackers here today, headed to Wayne State University. And Steve Kazor, the head coach there, will be very happy to have him.
Bazi showing some great speed, also good fundamental football, containing as the Brewster tries to pop it outside. He does a nice job coming up in that linebacker position and containing. And Brewster's going to find out he's the type of quarterback, Mark, that likes to run and make broken plays in a big place. Hard time here today with the type of speed he's going to be facing defensively.
Another punting situation, so the West really going the wrong direction offensively. Andy Roy to punt. Mason and Roberson again deep. This is a good kick over the head. Mason, he is not going to be able to get to it all the way back to the 24-yard line. That's a nice punt by Andy Roy to get him out of some poor field position, so the East will get it back. Roy, an excellent punter. I think this may be, as far as kickers go, maybe the best set of kickers combined that we've seen in this All-Star game for a while.
And Andy Roy, actually being as a two-way player here today, he's going to be doing some wide receiver as well as punting the ball. So not only a good punter, but a good athlete. There's a good look at Andy on the side. He just boomed. I was watching him in pregame. He looked like John Jett letting him go.
Ooh, that's pretty good. Well, Tom Hoover said he would alternate quarterbacks series to series, so he's got Bobby Martin, his quarterback from Allen Park High School, in there. And the handoff and a fumble, but I believe Martin fell on it. Fumble by Adam Survey. the fullback, as he was hit by Eric Vanderhorst, big 6'3", 230-pound linebacker out of Granville. And the ball popped loose, but the quarterback, Bobby Martin, a 5'10", 185-pounder, fell on it.
There it is, a little trap play inside. The problem is when the man who's supposed to be trapped, Vanderhorst, eludes the block, he gets penetration. As the fullback receives the ball, he's getting hit, and that's why the ball came loose. Good job by the front four of the West.
4:35 to go in the opening quarter. No score in this All-Star game. The 21st version, it's all even, 10-10. Braylon Edwards back in at a wide receiver, top of the screen. They're looking for him down the left sideline. He stretches out, got it, breaks free, and he may score. And the soon-to-be Michigan Wolverine takes it the distance. Braylon Edwards out of Bishop Gallagher, a 6'4", 190-pounder, goes all the way.
Well, the key to football, Mark, is matchups. You look for matchups, and right there, East coach, head coach, Hopper got the matchup he was looking for. He gets Braylon Edwards split wide to the left, man-to-man. And you know what? I'm just a little bit faster and a little bit taller. He runs away from Schuler. Big play. It's just a fade pattern. There's nothing fancy at all. And that's why Michigan, Coach Carr is going to be happy in the fall. You get someone like that who can go and get the ball, change gears. Braylon Edwards showed some great speed.
So the East jumps out to the early lead here. And it's really set up by their defense against the West. And here's the extra point try, and it is through. As Dave Rayner adds the 7th point here in the opening quarter. So the East on the board as they're trying to snap a 2-game losing streak here in this All-Star Classic, leading 7-0. That had to bring a smile to Tom Hoover's face. His quarterback Bobby Martin found the big receiver, Braylon Edwards, a Detroit News All-East player with 28 catches and 5 touchdowns in senior year.
Make Dad happy, too.
You bet.
Coaching, his high school coach was his father, Bob Martin, who's also coaching on the East squad here today.
Right.
So good job. Look at Coach Myers, not too happy right now. Things haven't started out quite the way he'd expected or hoped, but it's a long afternoon.
Well, we've seen that. We saw it last year. There's still a lot of football to be played. Marcus Ewing will be back deep.
It's just kind of scary if you're trying to prepare for this East club, if you're the West coach, especially defensively. When you look at the 3 of the receivers right here, Braylon Edwards, 6'4", Stewart is 6'6". You know, that's just unbelievable. And Strickland is 6'4", so they got 3 receivers, all 6'4". Strickland's coming here at 6'6". He's going to remind people, I think, of Plaxico Burris.
Wow.
If he has the type of career Plaxico did, Coach Williams is going to be an extremely happy man.
I would think so. So we're set for the kickoff, a 7-0 East lead. Back deep. There you see him, the deep men, Marcus Ewing, number 9, and Jerome Harrison, wearing number 21. A lot of offensive players, of course, in high school. Everybody plays 2 ways. In this game, it changes a little bit. There's not as much 2-way play in this All-Star Classic, although the coaches do have that option. Here's the kickoff, high end over end. And again, this one is going to go through the end zone and a touchback. So the West not getting any good field position in this football game, and that, as we know, makes a lot of difference in the outcome. It's a battle of field position and possession.
The East squad also blessed right now with some good bloodlines. Braylon Edwards is the son of former U of M running back Stanley Edwards. Had a nice career. Also, I played with Stanley a little bit in the Lions. He was in for a weekend with us at one time during his career. He came from Houston, but Stanley had a nice career in the NFL, and Braylon out here making Dad proud today.
The quarterback remains Carlton Brewster, rather, for the West, and he tries to run it, bottled up, nowhere to go. I'll tell you what, you got to be impressed by this East defense. John Wester in on the stop, along with Nick Miller out of Wyandotte Roosevelt High School.
Nick Miller was one of the few people we were talking to earlier that has not committed to play anywhere. Not sure that he's going to continue his football career. There's a couple others in this game who haven't really signed with anyone, but I got a feeling the next few weeks, if they can perform here today, might get them a college scholarship or a partial somewhere, at least a tryout.
be a showcase for him. Running play and a good job as DeGiorgio got a handout and tripped up the running back Harrison that time. Boy, DeGiorgio has been everywhere in this football game.
John does a nice job. He's one of those players, he's like a Chris Spielman, the type who just lives to play football. A good counter tray move, but DeGiorgio actually gets out of position, over pursues to the outside, comes too hard, has to reach back and trip up Harrison. It's a good thing. I got to feed him with this young man in the open a little bit. We're going to see some jets.
Come on now, Red. Tony, come on big, baby. No, go hard, go hard.
3rd down and 7 as you hear some of the talk on the sideline. Back to throw. Good protection for Brewster. Throwing in double coverage to Scheffler. And boy, I tell you, there was a lot of hand-to-hand combat going on. Tony Scheffler, big 6'5" receiver out of Chelsea, and Grant Mason, one of the defensive backs back there for the East.
And Grant Mason's going to get some help here. It's just a fade route. It's cover 2. You can see Grant Mason funnel him to the outside. Safety is going to come over to help Grant out a little bit. That's Derek Anderson. Scheffler trying to do a nice job, Mark, of pushing back, keeping Mason, who had him covered, but trying to use his bigger body to create separation.
Well, once again, a punting situation for the West. Andy Roy last time had a dandy, and this one end over end. And it is taken by Chris Roberson, and he doesn't go very far on the stadium turf, which will change here from artificial to the real stuff. And as a result, next year's All-Star game will be played in Ann Arbor at Michigan Stadium. They put down the real grass here. What do you think about that move?
I think it's a great move, and as a former player, I wish we'd have had real grass in Detroit instead of the Silverdome. I enjoyed playing in the Silverdome, but my career was before the retractable roofs, so you really couldn't have the grass field, and it really prevents injuries and prolongs careers.
Well, a lot of schools now are going to that synthetic stuff that it's almost like real grass.
That you can slip on.
Yep, it's a mixture. Running play for minimal yardage. Matt Baker, by the way, is back in there, so Tom Hoover sticking by his game plan of alternating his quarterbacks series to series.
That's nice to see Desmond Crenshaw in the game. He has a slight pulled hamstring. We weren't sure how much we were going to see him this afternoon, but you know, these kids at Faith Healer sometimes comes around on Friday, you know, and they know the game's coming. Maybe a little bit sore, but all of a sudden the game day, they feel a little bit better, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so it's good to see Desmond in the game.
7-0 East. East with the ball, 2nd and 9. Good blocking, and getting outside is Crenshaw, and gets up near midfield for the 1st down for the East. Desmond Crenshaw out of Detroit Jesuit, where Ron Rice, now with the Lions, went. Let's send it back down on the field. Jennifer Hammond. Jennifer?
All right, thanks, Mark. And you were talking earlier about some of the rule changes that take place in this Michigan All-Star game for the high schoolers, and one of them is that there is no blitzing allowed. You cannot blitz the quarterback. Both teams have been getting a little bit antsy defensively, and they both have been warned. Mark?
It's only legal if you get caught, Mark.
Well, it's hard. I tell you what, it's hard not to do something you've been doing all year. 1st down at midfield for the East. They lead it 7-0 out of the eye. They'll run it. Crenshaw breaks a tackle, running left. Big hole out to the 40. Looking for blocking downfield from his wide receiver, Kahari Stewart, that time. But Chris Maxim, the right cornerback out of Rockford, was able to fend it off and make the tackle at the West 36.
And you said fend it off. That's a great call, Mark, because Chris Maxim, he's the only one out there, and he's being blocked in the open field. Nothing but a little counter draw. Good speed by Crenshaw getting in the hole. Now, Maxim is up the field, but he's being stock blocked by the receiver, Strickland. A nice job, or Clary Stewart, and a nice job getting off the block, staying up, making the player up. That's going to be a touchdown.
Well, the East moving again with 1:37 to go in the opening quarter. They've been impressive. Out of the eye. Run it again. Chris Lemazny in there at the tailback spot now. Gets the call. Picks up about 2.5.
The West has been very solid between the tackles defensively. Where they've been getting hurt is to the outside with the counter trap going off tackle wide, the long pass. Baker's getting outside. He's breaking contain. The East is doing a better job defensively of containing Brewster, the West quarterback. So right now, the speed of the East squad is coming into play a little bit.
2nd down and a short 8. It's 7-0. The East with the lead, and they're looking to add more to it. And that ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage, and getting a hand up, Ryan Showers out of Ithaca, 6-footer. But he was able to jump up. He's headed to Saginaw Valley State University, and hard-nosed kid, according to Randy Ulrich. Says he's kind of a throwback player. And they've been on him, recruiting him since the beginning of this past season. So they got their man, one of 8, headed to Saginaw Valley to play for the Cardinals. 3rd down and about 8 to go. All at the West 33-yard line. It is 7-0 East leading. Working out of the shotgun is Matt Baker, the quarterback. And this handles the snap, picks it up on the good bounce on the artificial turf, throws out, and this one is intercepted. Great pick by Marcus Ewing out of Johannesburg Lewiston High School as he jumps up at the 7-yard line to pick it off.
Well, Olive, a little bit of Mark Schultz. You don't have to be the biggest, the fastest, or the strongest. Sometimes it's good to be the smartest, and that time Ewing was. Nice job sitting back deep in a safety position. When he was not threatened to the near side, he just kind of fell back into the middle field, saw the post coming, slides down, jumps, heads up play by Ewing. And it's nice to see the little schools contribute, huh?
Yeah,
Johannesburg, Lewiston, known for great golf courses.
Is that right?
Coach Fred Davis up in Johannesburg is probably pretty proud if he's not sitting in the stands right now.
I wouldn't mind finding a couple of those golf courses. First down from the 7. Let's see if the West can take advantage. Out of the eye. The lefty fires it out, underthrows his man, incomplete at the 10-yard line for Clifton Quinn out of Niles. Pretty good pressure inside.
We're getting our first look at Matt Bonet in the game now, the quarterback from the state AA championship Grand Ledge, going to Iowa. Former school of Charlie Long, good buddy of mine. I don't know if he'll have the career Chuck does, but if he has half the career Chuck did at Iowa, he's going to do all right for himself.
He held a number of records there until well, just recently. One of his career marks broken by Mr. Breeze, I think, at Purdue, wasn't it? Big 10 mark. Handoff inside. I tell you what, the West cannot get anything going offensively as ball carrier Ken Palkowski went nowhere. And now to be 3rd and about 9 to go. Final half minute of the opening quarter here at East Lansing, Spartan Stadium, as it is the East on top 7-0 on the long touchdown pass from Martin to Edwards. Braylon Edwards headed to Michigan.
A little bit of a danger zone here now, Mark, when you're the head coach. Coach Myers has got to be careful. 3rd and 9, you really don't want to turn over in this situation. You just kind of grin and bear it and punt the ball away.
Bonet, the 6'3 lefty, rolling back, fires downfield, and this is up for grabs and almost completed to Scheffler. He just kept running. A little misjudgment there by the defensive backs. There were 3 of them back there, led by Antoine Ford.
And Derek Anderson, the free safety, came over. He's almost going to make me look like a genius for a minute. He had the ball wired, but what you said, it carried on him. And the ball got a little bit of air, it got down the field, and you see right there, a nice play. Scheffler did get a hand on it. Looking for the flag. We got one here.
Yep, got a flag down there, Rob.
Not what Scheffler wanted, I don't think, though.
Let's see what referee Jim Stein has to say. Got 1 second remaining on the clock. Let's see if we can pick up the penalty.
Personal foul. Defense. First down, Red.
So the penalty on the East, and that will give the West a first down with, as we said, 1 second remaining.
That's been the West's best offense. 2 personal foul penalties versus the East in the first quarter. Sometimes kids get a little adrenaline flow in a game like this. It's pretty exciting to be out there, and you like to think they're not taking cheap shots. Sometimes it's just hard to slow down. They get a little carried away, a little anxious, and trying to impress the college coach sitting in the stands, possibly, too. A little extra effort.
Tom Hoover won't be happy with that penalty. Matt Bonet. First down, ball up to the 23-yard line, out of the eye. They're going to run it. Looked like a face mask there, didn't it, Rob? Hand off to Bart Bennett. Giorgio in on yet another tackle. He had about 5 or 6 of them in that opening quarter, which has come to a close. The end of one, the 21st Michigan High School Football Coaches Association All-Star Game. The only points belong to the East. It's 7-0. They're soaking up the sun here at Spartan Stadium, East Lansing. 80 degrees at kickoff as we begin the second quarter. The East leading on the 78-yard touchdown pass from Martin to Braylon Edwards. West has not been able to generate any offense in this football game. The East defense led by John DeGiorgio really clamping down on him. Second down play coming up as we switch ends. West on the offense. Bonet going long, left sideline, and too long. It goes into the East bench area as he tried to get that one to Clifton Quinn out of Niles High School, one of the B schools represented here today. 6'2", 175. A lot of size in the receiving core for both teams.
Unbelievable. I was down on the field prior to the game and walking, especially by the East receivers. I'm 6'3", and I was looking up at most of them. And they're not like they're 6'3", 150. My old buddy Jeff Chadwick back in the 80s with the Lions, you know, a good wind came along and he was gone. But these guys are 205, 210, so it's incredible that they have that type of speed and athleticism with that frame.
Well, their college, soon-to-be college coaches very happy about it. Running play off the left side, and Bart Bennett's hauled down, one of those headed to Saginaw Valley State University. He is a very strong player. He's an avid weightlifter, even though he is 5'10", 192. He is really built. You can tell by looking at him. They can't keep him out of the weight room. A drink of water as he heads to the sideline on a warm day. As Jennifer Hammond mentioned, it may be 80 temperature, but it's more like 90 plus down on the field. Punting play, end over end kick. It's going to take a high bounce and down at around the 32, 33 yard line. Well, the East will get it back. We're at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, where the Michigan State Spartans will be playing, and Bobby Williams right now says he's going to have two quarterbacks. He's going to have a two-quarterback system, but you got to think that between Jeff Smoker and Ryan Van Dyke, somebody's got to win it out. I don't know if you can win consistently shuttling quarterbacks. I don't know.
And we're doing Where's Waldo here this afternoon to find Bobby Williams somewhere. He's got to be in this.
Got to be here, you think? There's a cutback move. Oh, a dandy. All the way down to the 47-yard line. Chris Lemazny, what a cutback he made out of Chippewa Valley. And he had 49 touchdowns and 3 shy of a state record. He did have a state record in rushing yards, over 2,800.
Lemazny does a nice job with a shallow cut right there where you approach the defense. You don't slow down, Mark. It's just like a crossover step. You make the defender commit, you make them miss. That's excellent. You want to make your moves heading north and south. Everyone's, you know, Barry Sanders, exception to the rule.
Yeah, that was a nice little shake and bake move that time.
Lemazny
this time is wrapped up at the 45 by Colby Dykehouse out of Grand Haven, 6'4", 230. Linebackers for both teams also has pretty good size, as do the offensive line. I think overall you could just say there is size abounding in the All-Star Classic this year. It's second down and about 8 at the West 45-yard line. East on top, 7-0, looking for more. Bobby Martin back in at quarterback, and he's the man who threw the touchdown pass to Braylon Edwards. Edwards is in the game. They go a slant pattern that time to the receiver on the other side, Dan Wilson out of Livonia Stevenson, and that one a little bit off his fingertips, a little high for him.
I like Bob Martin's quarterback. This is a young man who shows that he has a nice, strong arm, a great decision maker, makes him quick. He looked at the coverage. He knew where he was going to go before the ball was snapped. The skinny post was going to be there. The ball took off on him a little bit, but Dan Wilson got his hands on it, couldn't come down with it. But looks really sharp, looks in command. That's what you want from your quarterback.
But you notice the helmets, they are wearing their regular team helmets. He's got the Jaguars helmet. He's a good rollout quarterback, and on the run, fires, but the receiver bobbles the ball and drops it. That's the tight end, Errol Stevens Jr. out of Oak Park. He should have had that one.
Definitely should have had it. They had just like a 3-tier drag route. They send someone down the sidelines and bring the tight end and the flanker from the weak side, drag him across the field. He took the shallow, looked for the shallow receiver that time, but in and out of the hands of Stevens. But once again, I don't want to belabor a point, but Martin, when you have a quarterback and you're going, when you're a college coach, Mark, and you're looking for a quarterback, you know, arms are nice, speed is nice, but a kid that can take command of an offense and looks confident in control, that means so much.
Punting situation, Adam Kugler will do it. Can't block a punt. Ooh, that's a nasty looking thing. On the run, Marcus Ewing. Can he break the tackle? He does one, but not the second one. Down at the 16-yard line. Hauled down by Chris Curry. That was one of the uglier punts you'll see, but it's going to happen to you once in a while. They're not all perfect. 9:59 to go here in the second quarter. A 7-0 East lead. 10-10 in this series. The first game played back in 1981. Talked about it. It's an honor for the players, also an honor for the coaching staff to be here. And they're represented by a number of schools. We'll run them down for you. Well, let's see if the West can at long last get something going here. Pass goes through the hands of Clifton Quinn as Matt Bonet remains the quarterback. Led Grand Ledge to an exciting state championship. He was the team MVP in that game.
He was like Lazarus. He raised them from the dead. There was no question. They were down. He brought them back with 2 late touchdowns after an onside kick. They got the second one, and pretty devastating for Ike. Utica Eisenhower was their second year in a row and lost 2 tough games. And I know a young John DeGiorgio who was watching the end of the game on the sidelines. This is a little redemption time for him. Look Matt Bonet up maybe.
Try the running play. May have been a fumble there, and is a fumble, and the East has recovered it at the 14-yard line. Recovered by Kenru Wright out of Henry Ford High School. Came up with that recovery.
Number 6 was on a tackle.
You can see right here, when you get penetration into the backfield, look at Bozzi, number 50, get in there, and shooting from the side, excellent penetration. You disrupt everything. When you can move the line of scrimmage into the opposing team's backfield, when all the handoffs, exchanges are going on, that's when you create havoc. And East is doing it with quickness up front. Not allowed to stunt. There's no games. There's no looping. You can play 2 technique and you can angle, and they're just using quickness to get penetration.
So each team has a turnover in this game, and let's see if the East capitalizes here. Great field position, obviously, at the West 13-yard line. Matt Baker, the quarterback, looks over the West defense. Short drop throwing right corner of the end zone, and a jump ball situation, incomplete. Braylon Edwards. And he can out-jump just about anybody at 6'4". You got the corners back there for a 5'9", 5'10", so very short corners against a 6'4" receiver, and the receiver is going to win that matchup.
Well, they're isolating Braylon Edwards on Jeff Carlson, and Jeff Carlson is about 5'10", 5'11". Baker does a good job. He puts it deep into the corner, giving really only Edwards the opportunity to come down with it. Pretty good coverage, but Edwards actually got his hands on it, Mark. You know, if he's going to continue his career at the next level and excel, you got to come up with that catch.
Edwards at the bottom of your screen now. They'll run it. Trying to get outside Desmond Crenshaw, but good lateral pursuit by that West defense. Jeff Carlson, the man that Rob Rubrick talking about, made the play, and send it down to the field again. Jennifer Hammond. Jennifer?
All right, Bob Myers, obviously earlier offensively talking about his team, said the holes were there, they just weren't executing. As for the East game plan on offense, intensity and fire, they wanted to come out fast and do to the West team what they had done to them last year. Mark?
Bob Myers, the veteran head coach of the 2 all-star head coaches. Tom Hoover has been a head man since '96. Third down play coming up, third about 7. So big play here for the West defense. Crenshaw out of the slot in motion right. Baker goes left to Edwards. Did he get it? Yes. Touchdown, East.
Sometimes the touchdown plays, Mark, are set up with the previous plays. They've been doing a lot of fades, a lot of corner routes, and that time they split Braylon Edwards wide, and instead of running the fade, he fakes a fade, he comes underneath on the quick slant. Good job setting it up.
And a 13-0 East lead. They'll try to add to it. Dave Rayner now with the extra point. Baker, the quarterback, the holder. And the kick is up and good. So they take advantage of the turnover by the West and turn it into 7 points. And as a result, second quarter, it is the East leading it 14-0.
Nothing. The East has taken an early lead here on the West, and they're having a hard time stopping the passing game of the East. You saw a touchdown from Matt Baker to Braylon Edwards. You're going to get a look at it here. Baker. And if you can execute this play, Mark, the quarterback and the wide receiver on time, it's basically impossible to stop. Not just the slant pass. When you run the quick slant, the safety can't come to the outside to help the corner. He's left on an island. You get a receiver that's 6'3" against a 5'10" defensive back. Good throw, good catch, good touchdown.
There you see Braylon Edwards headed to Michigan. He has 3 catches, 108 yards, and 2 touchdowns in this football game. Not bad.
That was my first 3 years in the NFL.
I would say that Lloyd Carr would be pretty happy. So 14-0. West will have to dig itself out of a hole here. High kick. This one is returnable. Ewing running it back, weaving his way, and a nice return up to the 27, 28-yard line. Nicely done by Marcus Ewing. Dan Smitherman in on the stop.
I guarantee the people in Indian River and Atlanta and Onaway up by Johannesburg are glad to see this kid go. He is shifty. He's got excellent feet. He had the interception early. Made a couple nice plays. You see him coming out of the end zone. He does a great job picking holes. What a feel this young man has. He has a nice way of keeping his hips away too. Very elusive.
First down, they mark it at the 27-yard line. Bonet, the quarterback, they try to run it up inside with Palkowski, the 220-pounder, and he picks up about 3. Giorgio has been in on just about, you'd just be safe to say he makes every tackle. He's around that football, isn't he?
He has a great nose, a great feel, and I'm just, being a former Grand Valley Laker, I'm not very happy that he's going to Saginaw Valley, because I got to believe if this young man stays healthy, he's going to have a fine career.
The thing about it is staying healthy. Randy Aubrey said if he's 100%, if he comes back from that leg, they'll let him practice. If not, he's a potential redshirt player this year. Quarterback is flushed out of the pocket and is driven out of bounds by DeGiorgio.
That's a little bit of payback time. John didn't get a chance to do that in the fourth quarter of the championship game when Bonet was running wild. He had some 10-second scrambles to the right, to the left, and some fire drill scrambles. That time, he gave DeGiorgio a little bit of a pump fake on the rollout. John not buying, and I have to apologize to John's parents if they're listening. I'm going to call him Joe every now and then because him and his brother basically made every play. Defensively, they were everywhere.
Well, John is still not 100%. Imagine how good he could be if he's 100%. Third down and 7 at the West 30. Short drop. Bonet flushed, rolling left, and just lobs that thing up there, hanging up in the air a long time. Greg Altamore out of Midland Dow High School, a little 5'9" receiver, unable to get it.
I think 5'9", I think you're being kind at 5'9".
My goodness.
Andy Roy coming back in the game, and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan being well represented. In that last series, the right guard and right tackle, one from Lakeland and Hubble, and the other from Manistee, Thornton and Generu. Lakeland and Hubble, we're talking about distance in this game. How about Monroe to Lakeland, and we have kids from Monroe and Lakeland, 600 miles apart. That'd be a tough game to schedule.
Here's the punt. Oh, a high, wobbly kick, and shoots up the sideline. Let's see where they're going to mark it out. It's very short. No return on it. Official marking it off. Still walking. Going to be right at the 40-yard line. So the East getting good field position, and Rob, they're winning the battle of field position. There's no question about it. And possession. They lead at 14-0. 8:34 to go in the half.
I think what they won early on is a battle of the tape measure. Their receivers, just physically, no matter how good you are, the defensive backs are fine high school players for the West, but sometimes you're just physically outmanned. And believe me, I understand. I had Lawrence Taylor throw me around like the American flag more than once. So sometimes it doesn't matter how good a football player you are. Genetics and size and strength comes into play.
Bobby Martin back at quarterback. He's the Allen Park graduate. Headed to Wayne State, played for Steve Kaiser, who had a good recruiting year this year. Wayne State's program coming back. There's the handoff up inside, and one hard-earned yard at the 41-yard line.
Steve Kaiser, a former Detroit Lion, was special teams coach of Steve with the Lions.
Special teams. Yep.
Nice man. I wish him well with Wayne State. He's moved around a little bit.
He also was an assistant with the Chicago Bears at one time.
Brian Smith and Eric Tanner.
Now trying to rebuild that Wayne State football program. 2nd down and 9 at the 41 for the East. They lead it 14-0. A couple of touchdown passes to Braylon Edwards. And it's a receiver running left and brought down Smitherman. Dan Smitherman, who was scheduled to play left corner. We got a flag down as well, but because of Crenshaw's status with a hamstring, Smitherman moved to offense, and the Westland John Glenn running back, who was lined up in a slot, came in motion, took the handoff. Got a penalty. It's going to be a face mask call.
That really is a shame, because Kyle Stewart, the outside linebacker, even though he didn't make the tackle, made a phenomenal play, getting penetration, stretching the play out, allowing his teammates to come up and make the play. It's not always the one that makes a tackle when a coach watches the film, Mark, that gets the praise. That time Stewart, that's what you call it, it's a team game. He did a nice job. The 5-yard penalty is going to negate a
5-yard face mask. Red team, 5 yards from the end of the run. Replay, 2nd down.
Jim Stein, our referee.
And that's one of the new rules we were visiting about before the game, the 5-yard face mask. Last few years have been put into high school. It used to be just always a 15, and I like that.
Yeah.
If you're just swiping across a guy's mask, yeah, that's a tough. That 15-yard penalty can really change the tempo of a game.
Flag down, movement. On the offensive side, let's see. Back-to-back penalties, and looks like they're going to
Fire the snap, offsides, red,
on the defense.
5 yards.
Nope. Contact from the defense first, and mark off another 5. Well, that's an easy way to get 10.
And in high school, once you break the plane, unlike college and professional levels, you can't come back. It's a dead ball. Once you cross that plane and the whistles are blown. And that's one of the many rules that are different in high school for one reason, to prevent injuries. You see a lot of them, no blocking below the waist, anywhere on the field. They want to protect the kids, and that's a good thing.
You see the quarterback, Bobby Martin, only 5'10", but he's been effective in this game. Call it 2nd and still about a yard to go. They pick up the first down, running off the left side. Down inside the 46, Kyle Stewart in on the stop.
15, Dan Smitherman.
Smitherman again, the ball carrier.
Kyle Stewart on the tackle for the West.
Nice career at John Glenn, one of the A schools represented.
It's down East
You see the coach of the East, Tom Hoover. 1st and 10 for his squad at the West 47. 14-0, the East with a lead. And they try the run, Chris Lemazny, but Josh Ferris was right there out of Three Rivers. First time we mentioned him today. We got yet another flag down. And that was away from the play. The receiver, Kahari Stewart of the East, was involved in it.
Well, you're going to have a personal foul here. I'm not sure if they're going to be offsetting. It's down the field a little bit. There's a little extracurriculars going on.
Well, the referee, Jim Stein's been very involved in this particular series. 3rd penalty in this series.
Pretty spirited action so far.
Offsetting foul, personal foul, red, personal foul, white, replay, 1st down.
You know, we all have our little peccadillos. That's one of mine. I think that is the stupidest penalty. If it's an offsetting penalty, why even throw it?
Oh, so
just warn them. Just, you know, why throw the flag?
Also, the guy in the white hat can talk.
I guess.
They got to get airtime.
That's one that just drives me nuts. So it is 1st and 10 for the East at the West 47-yard line. Kahari Stewart, the big receiver at the top of your screen. Now we got the play stopped again. See what we got. Initiating crew discussing it over. Not quite sure what this one's about. Could be where the ball should be. Let's see.
Last penalty, Offsetting after the play will be second down. Second down.
All right, determining what down it is. So it'll be second down, not first down. That does make a difference. Bobby Martin, the 3-year starter at Allen Park. 17 touchdown passes this past season. Under center on second down. Good protection. He puts a lot of air underneath that one, and a flag down. Braylon Edwards, the intended receiver, and there was bumping going on. Not the prettiest looking pass, but it was effective. He got the yellow flag out.
And therefore, the East coach, Coach Hoover's doing a nice job by formation that time. They're putting the strength to the field, and they're putting the one-on-one down to the bottom of the field to the short side. They got Braylon Edwards matched up on Horn. And right here you're going to see Horn does a pretty nice job, but now he looks back, and Edwards is doing a better job of playing the ball. Horn started playing the man. Edwards plays the ball. He sees it. He cuts underneath. He gets the flag. That's a good call.
Pass interference. Defense. First down.
It's also kind of indicative of Tom Hoover's theory you talked about. He's got the tall receivers. Just put it up. Let him out-jump the defensive backs.
You got a horse. You got to ride him. He's got about 3 or 4 of them out there.
So the penalties mounting up in this drive, beneficial to the East. They have it down at the West 32-yard line, 1st and 10. 14-0 score. Fumble as Martin fell down, but the East will retain possession at the 34-yard line. Tripped on the carpet, I think. Don't know if he tripped over his own man or not, but falling on the football was Chris Lemasny. See what he...
Just a bad exchange, and it's amazing you don't see more of this. They've only had, 5 days of practice, Monday through Friday, with only 1 practice on Friday with the center and the quarterback. And I know high school coaches, as a former high school coach, you want your kids, the center quarterback exchange every day, at least 100 snaps practice. So a good job by the young men.
2nd and 12, play action, rolling right, flag down. Martin's throwing the right sideline up for grabs, dangerous throw, trying to get it to Kahari Stewart. It's incomplete. But we've got a penalty, probably a holding call coming up. Referee threw the flag, and that's generally what it will be. Yep.
I think Bobby Martin, the quarterback, was listening a little bit too much to Coach Hoover in the meetings, to the fact that he said, all my receivers are real tall. I'm just going to throw that one up. And he pretty much put up for grabs, and Kalari Stewart was there. And you figured my 6'4" guy is going to get it over your 5'10". By that time, it was almost intercepted and could have been disastrous for the West.
Markov back
East.
to the 46-yard line.
Offense, 10 yards from the original spot. Repeat.
10 yards.
Jennifer Hammond down on the field. Jen, what do you got for us?
Well, Mark, the biggest advantage, obviously, for the East offense is the height of the receivers. I talked to Coach Bob Myers. He said there's nothing you can really do except try your best, although the one thing they want to do is out-position them and don't let them get inside. That's it.
Yeah, good point. Good comment there. 2nd down and a whole bunch. 23 to go. 14-0, the East with the lead. Lemasny, the motion man. Martins with a screen left. Serby, the fullback, got blocking downfield, and a good tackle made at the 32. Art Anderson fighting off the block by Chris Curry that time, the right guard, to make the tackle. But a nicely designed screen pass. And that gets him back almost to the original line of scrimmage.
When you run a screen, what you want to do, it's a total deception play. They motion away to get the formation to shift away, and then they throw the screen back to Serby, who does a nice job. You're going to see right here, the motion goes away. Martin sucks the defenders deep before he dumps the ball to Serby. And that's when your quarterback has to be an actor, and Bobby Martin did a pretty good job. Not a first down, but now you have an opportunity by going 3rd and 10 to pick up a first down.
Serby, the offensive MVP of the Huron League, 30 touchdowns, 1,900 yards rushing, slant pass caught for the first down inside the 20-yard line to Dan Wilson. All the way down to the 16-yard line. Good throw that time.
All formation right now. They're putting 2 receivers to the left. They put 1 receiver to the right. He gets man-to-man coverage. And that's just, he gets inside Carlson. That's a nice job. Well executed. We talked about that earlier, Mark, on the touchdown to Braylon Edwards. If you run a slant pass on time with the quarterback and receiver executed, you cannot stop it. I don't care who you are. Maybe Deion. Maybe. He'd tell you.
And he retired. Inside handoff down to about the 12-yard line. Billy Shanks on the stop. The The two teams, they try to balance this thing out. Each of the offensive coordinators have to provide a list of the offensive plays they're going to call. They are allowed to keep 3 plays away from the opposition. They can run 3 surprise plays, if you want to call it that, and don't know that we've seen any of them here this afternoon, but you're allowed to at least have some edge on your opposition's defense.
We weren't privy to the information by the coach. I wish they'd have given us those secret plays, but we're going to be a surprise to everyone else.
Setting up, look out, and good penetration that time. And knocked down Steve Bednarik getting in there, along with Scott Berriger, to drop the quarterback, Bobby Martin, back to the 19.
I don't know, it seems like a lot of bodies coming. That was a borderline blitz, if you ask me. But once again, it's only illegal, Mark, if you get caught. And that time,
you know what? They may have called this.
They may have watched
Rob.
the replay.
Yeah,
up on the big board.
The flag came out late.
I think the East coach over there, Coach Hoover, was yelling a little
Personal
bit.
foul, red, half the distance to go.
That may have been it. I mean, personally, I'm not sure what they would call that type if you're using things that have been agreed upon not to do during the course of the game.
Maybe Jen could find out, because I don't know if anything else happened down there besides that. 4:18 to go in the half. That moves the football. Well, this has been a penalty-hard drive, hasn't it? We've had a bunch of them. Eating up a lot of time. Ball just inside the 10-yard line of the West. Or the East, and there you see Tom Hoover signaling for a timeout. He wants to talk it over. He's got a 1st and goal coming up.
And welcome back to Spartan Stadium. Jennifer Hammond on the field. That last flag, of course, the personal foul on the blitz against the West squad. They said the formation penalties are called from the booth. Number 11 blitzed, although the West argument is that it was a quick read. Mark?
Okay, Jennifer, thank you very much. Good job.
Quick read, I like that. He has, he's like telekinetic powers.
Steve Bednarik, the guilty party there out of Roscommon.
I think the Lions should just take him, draft him. He should bypass college if he could read that quick.
Absolutely. All right, a 1st and goal after the timeout by the East. And look out, Intra, there he is. That ball is loose. It's out of there, and I think the East recovered it. Bobby Martin hit by Steve Bednarik, and the ball came loose.
Well, you don't have to get mad, you just have to get even. That's all. And that time, Bednarik on the sack, a nice job getting penetration, getting inside.
Matt George made the recovery.
You can see him get pressure right up through the middle. Boy, isn't that a blitz again?
I tell you.
I'm not going to say anything.
It's, I don't know how you decide whether it is or isn't. Well, Bednarik happy about that play. Matt George made the recovery. Big tackle, 6'4", 280 out of Lake Orion. Headed to Saginaw Valley, and Randy Aubrey thinks he got a steal in getting him. A lot of feelings that he should have been a Division I type player.
I'm just curious if Bednarik's the inside linebacker, and I'm not the most intelligent person in the world, but I always thought the blitz was when the linebackers came. Unless maybe on the play action, we have to check, and I get Jennifer checking on it if it matters if it's play action.
And there's the throw into the end zone. A lot of pushing and shoving, but it is caught. Touchdown, Braylon Edwards, his 3rd of the football game. Simple. When you're 6'4", you go up and get the football, and that's exactly what he did. 3rd one today.
Well, you said it's simple, and it is, but Bobby Martin does a nice job of giving the ball air, letting Braylon Edwards position himself, and he just makes an athletic play. What are you going to do? There's young Carlson sitting there. You know what? That's a tough pill to swallow, because he did play him very well. Tell you what, this kid's got a bright future ahead of him. The way he just absolutely plays the football, you can't coach that. Kids can run, Mark, kids can catch, and not all of them have that type of feel.
Well, if he's able to play, if he's lucky enough to play as a freshman, he'll have John Navarre as his quarterback at Michigan. That's where Braylon Edwards is headed. We're headed down to Jennifer Hammond.
All right, and thanks, guys. Lloyd Carr's got to be pleased with Braylon Edwards. When we talked to him earlier this week, he said the guy he idles the most, Jerry Rice, looks a little like him today, and he said his big rule of thumb is to be number 1, you've got to train like you're number 2. Mark?
Thanks a lot, Jennifer. You noticed he's from Bishop Gallagher, but he transferred. He began his high school career at King High School. and then transferred to Bishop Gallagher.
Wasn't the Curry kid that came? Was he from Gallagher last year? Yeah, fine player.
Also,
Dave Rayner will
Michigan
kick off
Wolverine.
for the
Coach Sahadi, I think was the coach at Bishop Gallagher.
Marcus Ewing, number 9. And
Did their game about 8 years ago when they were in the state championship.
for the West.
Well, real disciplined team, great athletes for a small school.
Well, the West has their work cut out for them. They trail 21-0. 3:05 to go before halftime, and the kickoff coming up. Dave Rayner gets a good foot into this one. On the return, Harrison running up the middle, breaks through the initial wedge and takes it up across the 32-yard line. Tackled by John Wester out of Romulus.
Jerome Harrison
We
returns
just
to
saw
kick
one
for
of the
West.
rules that has changed specifically for this game in high school, and that's taking the ball out of the end zone.
John Wester,
Normally in
number
high
9,
school
on
football,
time
once
for the
that
East.
ball or your foot crosses the plane, it is a dead ball. You cannot return, but you see about 5 yards deep, Harrison coming out, carrying pretty good speed, finds a little bit of a seam there. Nice job, get north and south, make Desmond Howard proud. Number 21.
Well, let's see if the West can get on the board before halftime. They have struggled to get anything going offensively. High formation from the 32-yard line. And not much there. Jerome Harrison gets the handoff from Matt Bonet. Matt LaPiccolo in on the tackle.
Harrison off here.
2nd and 9 coming up.
Well, it's easy to sit up here and see things much easier than the running back. But that time, Jerome Harrison put his head down just a little bit after he got the ball. He saw the pile and put his head down, kind of ran into it. If he would have kept his head up, there was a little bit of a lane to the left and a nice seam. That'll come with time. He'll get a little more confidence in his offensive line.
Well,
you're going to see those holes.
You're going to see that youngster down the road at Eastern Michigan. Back to throw, and almost picked off. Almost picked by John Wren. One of the safety men back there, intended for the tight end, Caleb Anthony.
John Wren, one of the late additions to this all-star game. A nice job accelerating when the ball's in the air, flying to the football, not just being complacent and sitting back and playing the man. That time he saw the ball, and you want your defensive backs, as a defensive coach, saying that ball's in the air, that's yours. You become the receiver as a defensive back.
3rd and 9 at the West 33-yard line. 21-0 East. Harrison breaks a tackle and picks up the first down. That's good running by Jerome Harrison. Big first down for the West. They needed that one. 2:14 left in the opening half, trying to just get some points on the board as Harrison takes it up to the 44-yard line.
This is counter Trey. He does a nice job eluding the first defender, gets penetration, and then he gets on behind Big Generu from Manistee there, gets on his back, lets the offensive lineman make the block. Patience. Great running backs have patience. They don't rush the play. If you got blockers out in front of them, they're being paid big money. Let them do their work. Well, not here.
Well, no, I hope not. Tony Scheffler, big 6'5" receiver at the bottom of your screen, just checked in on a first down play. They're looking his way, and the big guy is able to corral it up at the 49-yard line. Good catch as he had to wrestle it away from the safety, Derek Anderson. Anderson started as a safety, but he's moved to corner because of Smitherman's move to the offense.
Now the West trying to do a little bit what the East has done, exploit the big receiver. They have Scheffler, who's a all-state in 3 different sports from Chelsea, fine athlete. But the difference is I don't think he has the north and south speed that Edward Strickland and Stewart do on the other side of the ball. He does a nice job there showing catching the ball with your hands. You want all your receivers to do that.
2nd down and 5 for the West. Deep handoff and deep penetration by the East defense. So the West continues to struggle to get it going. Great penetration that time as Malachi Wofford White got in there.
If you're going to stop the counter trade, and that's what the West is running, that's just where the back takes a jab step and everything comes back and you pull the off guard and off tackle, you cannot get penetration backside. And that time Wofford White got great penetration, and that's how the play broke down.
Actually, Mike Zucchero also got in there. There's a long throw up the right sideline, flag down, catch made by Tony Scheffler out of Chelsea. They take advantage of someone 6'5". The West said if the East can do it, so can we. Flag down, ball placed at the 23.
Position, position, position. And this is what I played with a young man years ago named Billy Luckstead. could run a 4.940, but boy, could he position his body. And Scheffler does that right here. I'm not running away from this guy. He knows it. So he just slows down a little bit, stretches, accelerates at the end. Fine catch. Nice job. Great feel. Great feel on the ball for Scheffler.
I think you're right, Rob. He doesn't have, you can tell he's got kind of a loping type gait, but he's 6'5".
Yeah, he better watch. He gets to college, he may become a tight end. Those coaches start looking at you. They see you walking up, taking seconds at the training table. Before you know it, you got a 80 number down in there.
Yeah, I think he's destined for that. 1st and 10 at the East 23. Best field position all day, and they're going again, but he's out of bounds. Scheffler forced out of bounds that time by the corner, Derek Anderson. 2nd down, 10 coming up, 21-0 East. West, boy, you'd like to see him get on the scoreboard here, this drive.
Scheffler that time, Derek Anderson, nice job on Scheffler by getting his hands inside, getting a good jam, throwing off the timing of the play. The quarterback, Bonet, feels that Scheffler's going to get a clean release. He throws up there. Well, Scheffler's not there because he's getting that jam, disrupts everything.
And a slant picked off. Miscommunication. That baby may be taken back. John Wren running up the right sideline, and Harrison, the running back, catches up with him at the 40-yard line. That had to be some sort of miscommunication there. That's a tough break for Matt Bonet and the West squad.
21 Jerome.
Man, oh man.
Well, John Wren just absolutely baited Bonet. He was at the safety position. He's just sitting back there. He sees the slant coming. They do a little cross with the flanker, and he's sitting back. Now right here, they try to throw the slant. He's sitting on the safety. He's playing a robber, where he's free as a safety. He reads the quarterback's head. When the quarterback turns left, he turns left with him. He jumps down on the slant route. A nice job. Jefferson showing some, or Harrison showing some good speed there, making sure Wren doesn't go the distance. And I know Coach Woodruff at Eastern Michigan will be happy to get Jerome Harrison next year. Coach Woodruff has as well represented here as the Eagles are. Unlike the Ball State Cardinals, are they represented here this afternoon?
Let's not get into that. Yeah, we got one player in it. So the East takes over. Play fake. Goodwin freezes the defense. Ball deflected and almost intercepted. Kahari Stewart, the intended receiver. The good play action by Matt Baker. As Ted Newhoff, the inside linebacker, deflected that pass.
Nice drop by Newhoff, getting his drop, and that leaves a smaller hole over across the middle. East right now has gotten deep. So that time they take Stewart on about a 10-yard crossing route. You threaten them with speed. Now you start running underneath everything. You get them in their back pedals, and good play.
27 seconds remaining in the opening half. A 21-0 East lead. Play action. Baker going to the left side, finding Stewart, his big receiver, who tries to pick up the first down. I think he did at the 30-yard line. We get a timeout here for the East with 19 seconds to go, so still time to get more points on the board. Turnovers have been a big factor in this football game. West turnovers have really hurt them. It's all 3 touchdowns have been to big Braylon Edwards, and Edwards is in the game at the bottom of your screen. Let's see if Matt Baker looks his way. Motion man coming across. Baker looks right, pump fake, going long. And it's off the fingertips. Incomplete, intended that time for Robert Strickland. One of the rare times he has seen action out of Detroit Denby. And he will play at Michigan State. Will Strickland, he's 6'4".
Yeah, Strickland gives you something that you can't coach, and that's what you just said, 6'4". He does a nice job running a fade here. Because you're going to see right here, he's going to come in, give a little bit of a dip, and then get to the outside. And that's going to he's going to sell it down inside. Right there, you see the dip. Now he presses the corner, and he tries to get separation as he runs. You know what? That's a pretty well executed play everywhere. Well thrown ball, good coverage, nice route. Sometimes they just don't click.
Slant play, that one is knocked down. Stops the clock. Eric Vanderhorst out of Granville High School, headed to Northwestern University, so he's headed to the Big Ten.
Gonna team up with a good friend of mine's boy, Matt Danielson, quarterback, Gary Danielson's son at Northwestern, fighting for his backup job this year.
So we're down to 10 seconds in the opening half. The 21st Michigan High School Football Coaches Association All-Star Classic, our champion, along with Rob Rubik and Jennifer Hammond. Hope you're enjoying it. 21-0 East leading. on a gorgeous summer day, temperature in the 80s. Shotgun formation on 3rd down for Baker. Steps up in that pocket. Now he's going to have to run it. Baker, can he get to the sideline? Yes. With 2 seconds at the 22-yard line.
Now, is Dave Rayner going to kick? He did the chip on the other one, but they must split halves. I'd imagine Rayner gets to kick the first half. Baker, look at this. That's a smart quarterback. He lets the play develop when nothing's there, and not until does he break the pocket. And he has enough sense and awareness to get out of bounds to stop the clock and give Dave Rayner, the young man out of Oxford, and prodigy of Bud Raleigh, the head coach of Oxford's won a state championship and has been in the state finals. He got a nice job up there.
Matt Baker, smart kid. He has the ability to make something happen. That's what Al Fracassa said about him, his coach. So 2 seconds left and a timeout. So we'll talk it over. The West, you take a look at the West. Bob Myers, the head coach, and the explanation is going to be pretty simple, as Rob alluded to. Turnovers and the inability to have anybody knock down a throw to Braylon Edwards.
He was a soccer star, Mark.
Well, that should help him, and he got a good foot into this one. The kick from 39 yards away is good. Wow.
He's no hummingbird, 6'3", 205. He smacked that one.
He sure did, and that wraps up the first half scoring, and all the scoring is done by the East. Turnovers really hampering the West. Very impressive performance by the East squad. They're up 24-0. It is halftime at East Lansing. Well, to add insult to injury, the West has to give up the football to begin the 3rd quarter here. The East will get it, and the East squad leading 24-0. J.J. Danhoff to kick it off. And an onside kick. How about this? And it's curling back. Didn't go enough.
I think we had a few people offsides. We were talking about earlier in high school. Kills the play, and you had 2 or 3 guys on the West squad were a little bit
just a little ahead of the. But got to appreciate the effort by Bob Myers, the head coach, trying to get anything going to get that football back.
I'm sure JJ appreciates it after watching Dave Rayner kick the ball about 80 yards each time in the first half. His first opportunity, he gets a hit little knuckleball.
Rayner had a 39-yard field goal for the East. Both Rayner and Danhoff are headed to Michigan State to battle it out. Well, let's see what they do this time. Teeing it up at the 35-yard line.
There's 5 nervous men right now. Those big beef eaters in the front row. They're saying, please don't do it again. Got all the big men in the front for the East here. You don't have the hands team in.
West will kick off from the 35. J.J. Danhoff.
So take 2 here to begin the 3rd quarter. This time he's going to boot it, but he chips it up over the wedge. Bounces at the 20. Fumbled. Loose ball, but covered by Antoine Ford, the man who initially had it. That was a tough ball to handle, and Ford able to cover it, avoiding disaster at the 21-yard line.
It's like a Phil Mickelson sand wedge. Look at how it comes back. He cuts it, bringing it down. Antoine Ford making a choice not to catch it in the air, trying to get in the first hop. Went away from it. Almost a turnover. Really two type of trick kicks to start the half. Coach Meyer trying to open in his bag of tricks, hoping to pull something out here that works.
Kind of a ballada football there, wasn't it? Checked up pretty good.
Well, we've seen ballada football already today, haven't
yes, we have. Bobby Martin had a good, solid first half. 4 of 6, 129 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not bad. Toss left. Good cutback. Flag goes down as Chris Lamazny is hauled down by Eric Vanderhorst. But an early flag to begin the 3rd quarter. What do we got? The old holding call coming up? Yep.
I think they're going to get Anthony Miles, number 58, that time. Can we point him out now? I know in high school you really shouldn't point him out, but they're going to get used to this because they're going to be pointing out when they got an ABC. Anthony Miles going to Michigan State.
If they go to the 3rd level, not the next level, that would be college. They don't point him out there, but on the pro level they do.
Offense, 10 yards, repeat, first down.
The guys in the stripes might not, but the people upstairs sometimes will narc on them a little bit. Anthony Miles fighting out with Chris Morris, both centers from the East, heading to MSU next fall.
1st and 21, back at the 9-yard line. Martin's hands off, nowhere to go. Lamazny hauled down by an aggressive defense led by Kyle Stewart. Down on the field is the always aggressive Jennifer Hammond.
All right, thanks very much, Mark. And speaking of aggressive, I talked to Coach Tom Hoover just after the half. He said he gave his players a choice at halftime. They could either back off or keep up the same pressure. No surprise, they voted to keep on playing hard all the way for 4 quarters, to look for much of the same from the East in the second half, which means a lot of Braylon Edwards, Mark.
Yep, and why not? He's already established a record with 3 touchdown catches in the opening half, among his 4 for 129 yards. Second down, loss of 2 more. They're going the wrong way. From the 23, deep drop, could be a safety, and is. Never saw the backside. That might be a touchdown. He may have fumbled that ball, although it looked like he was down before that ball came out. Let's see what they're going to rule. This could be interesting.
I think it was loose. I think it's a touch. They're conferring right now, the striped fellas.
Question is, was Martins down before that ball came out? So Jim Steins, the referee, is talking it over with his crew.
Well, they're trying to set up the screen to Servi over on the left flat, but too much pressure. The lineman didn't hold him for the 1 count and then release.
Well, we're going to get a look at it here in a minute.
Coaches in the West are pointing to the big board at Spartan Stadium.
Illegal pass, intentional grounding in the end zone, results in a safety.
So they did call it. They ruled. Here's a replay. They ruled that he just tried to get away with it, tried to dump it off. Let's see.
Right here, you see number 40, Servi, check, release on the bottom of your screen. Well, he was. I saw his arm. He was doing a little shovel. It looked like at the very end, possibly get another look at that play. At the very end, as he was going down, you're going to see him shovel his hand forward. His right arm in the ball, the hand holding the ball. Right here, a little shuffle pass. He's going to flick it like he's running an option. He's getting grabbed. All right, we'll keep watching. You got to keep watching, Mark.
Boy, I'll tell you, you're taking poetic license there. I don't know about that.
I'm even getting dissed in the truck right now. I don't know.
Oh, so that is a safety, 24-2, but at least that gets the West on the board. They'll take it any way they can get it.
Now, if there would have been a touchdown, would they have received the ball, the West? Even though they would have scored.
Yeah, that's correct, because there's the 12-point rule. If you score, if you are the trailing team, you score but are still behind by 12 points or more, you get the football back again. There's one of the rules of the All-Star game. It's the head coach, Bob Myers, of the West. And the East will give it right back to the West, so they have a chance to add to this 2-point outburst.
You're a jolly joker, Mr. Champion.
Oh, you got to have fun with this. All right, Dave Rayner to kick it off. Pretty good foot into it. Ewing on the return. Look out. Good tackle made at the 40-yard line, preventing a much larger return. John Wester got down to make the play on special teams, but the West has the football once again. And let's see if they can turn around a disastrous opening half that saw only 56 total yards. Monet, the quarterback, was 2 of 10 for 32 and 1 interception. Brewster was 0 for 2. Brewster will be the quarterback, Carlton Brewster, out of Grand Rapids Creston. 22-7 as a career starter. Play fake, rolling left. Still with it. Going to run it up to the 45 and is drilled out of bounds near the 47-yard line. A little scramble there by Brewster as Grant Mason, the free safety, got over to make the play.
I saw Carlton Brewster a couple years ago in the state finals for Grand Rapids Creston, and if push comes to shove, I shouldn't even say push comes to shove, if the play breaks down at all, he's going to tuck it and go, because the young man's got great wheels. He loves to make things happen in the open field. He's going to let the pass play develop a little bit, but he's going to pull that trigger quick and go.
Down to Jennifer Hammond. Jennifer?
All right, thanks, Mark. And as we talked to Bob Myers after the half, he said he told his coach, he told his team, rather, we're going to play as hard as we can, as long as we can. Certainly, they are all-stars. They have an awful lot of pride, and the rules will favor them as the team down by so much.
Second down carry, bursting through and breaking tackles is Bart Bennett, the hard-running Birch Run graduate, headed to Saginaw Valley State. In his career, he had 4,336 yards and 45 touchdowns. That's a terrific career. He lives in the weight room. He's a strong runner, only 5'10". That might be stretching it, but he is strong.
Between Randy Ellery, the head coach of Saginaw Valley, and Gary Darnell at Western Michigan, they hit the lottery in this game because they got,
sure did.
I think, 8 players apiece heading there.
It's 24-2, the East leading here in the third. Play fake, toss right, and getting drilled is Bart Bennett. Right at the line of scrimmage at the 48-yard line. Good, solid hit by Matt LaPiccolo out of Catholic Central in Detroit. He's going to your alma mater, Grand Valley.
Nice. You're going to run option football, though, Mark. Carlton Brewster, the quarterback. When you run option, the first thing you have to do as a quarterback is get the defender to come to you. He throws the ball really before he has to. He's not being pushed enough. There was still 3-4 yards. You got to get in that guy's face, or he's just going to cat and mouse you, and he can play you and the pitchman. That time, Carlton Brewster didn't sell the play long enough.
Second down and 10 at the East 48. The West trailing 24-2. This 21st All-Star game. It's 10-10 in the series.
That's illegal!
You heard the coaching staff yelling illegal, and it might have been a face mask. Speaking of illegal, as Bart Bennett was grabbed by Jerry Barnes out of Kettering High School in Detroit.
Right here, it's just a fake to the second back off the fullback trap, tailback, and right there, definitely good, great camera angle. Nice look at it there. You can see Bennett's head gets turned right around. That's a 15-yarder. That's a no-brainer there.
Personal foul, face mask, white team, automatic first down, red.
I will say this for the East, Mark. They're getting their money's worth on their penalty. I think that's their 4th penalty for 55 yards. So they're not nickel and diming their way up the food chain. They're going right to the big boys.
That's right. 3 major penalties along the way. That moves it to the 29-yard line of the East, so the West trying to take advantage. Carlton Brewster, the quarterback. 65 touchdowns in his career. Back to throw, pump, and goes for not much. Had to struggle back to the original line of scrimmage. Mohamed Bassi made the stop. 3-year starter there, both offense and defense. Headed to Wayne State, as we said, 6'2", 221, good active player.
I think that last play they ran a quarterback draw. That may have been one of the 3 plays they didn't disclose. You know, Carlton Brewster, you don't want to prepare for that. You show them all your pass plays, all your run package, but if you keep that one in your back pocket, it might work, but East didn't bite on it. They stayed home. Nice job defending that time.
8:44 to go, third quarter action. And off. Bennett, can he get to the corner? No, sir. Denied by Mohamed Bassi again. Oh, consecutive tackles for him. He had 145 his senior year. 28 of those tackles were for losses. And now we got a flag down. We might have another illegal defense situation coming up. Let's see. We had one of those called in the opening half, an illegal blitz called on the West defense.
They had their safeties walked way up that time. I'm not sure what they're going to call.
Personal foul, illegal defense, white team, half the distance to the goal, first down.
What are we doing?
Now, I can't claim I know exactly what it was they did. Well, we'll find out. Jennifer Hammond will be Jennifer Hammond will be on it. We get a look at it, see if we can pick it up.
Well, it's hard to tell right here, but I think the safeties were walked up just past the linebackers. And that creates a whole bunch of problems because they know if you're going to run the ball, you can do that. And it pretty much negates anything you can do. Like I said, we didn't know ahead of time exactly what constituted legal defense. We understood the blitz part of it, but as far as walking your safeties up into a run stop position, I'm not sure.
Well, now we're going to get talked over. The official on the side who was in charge of relaying the calls. Those calls, by the way, those illegal defensive calls are made from up in the booth, and they are relayed down to the referee, Jim Stein. And he's getting a further explanation, apparently. So it's a half the distance penalty down to the East 12-yard line, where it'll be first down. 24-2, the East leading. 3 touchdown passes in the opening half to Braylon Edwards. Boy, an awful lot of discussion going on. Tom Hoover says, can we just play football?
If anyone's going to find out Jennifer Hammond is. I see her. She's down there working the sideline right now. She's going to figure out what went wrong in that last one.
The hammer, you can count on the hammer. Brand new mama, by the way. Let's send it down to Jennifer Hammond.
Well, the word that we got from, of course, all the people down here, the PR staff as well as the officials, is that the defense was reducing down, which they are not allowed to do. They're not allowed to sneak inside and get over the guard, so they got a penalty for that, Mark.
All right, well done, Jennifer.
So they're supposed to play all 2 techniques. They were knocking down, moving into something called like a double eagle, where you cover the center and the 2 guards, and that's a no-no. I think it's a good idea to have the illegal defenses monitored from up above, because these officials, you get in the same type of mindset to call a game during the course. You don't need to be throwing more at them in a game like this, looking for something that's just illegal for this one game.
Brewster to Bennett, spinning inside the 5-yard line. Good hard run up inside by Bart Bennett. Out of Birch Run High School, Curtis Watkins, a strong safety, made the stop. He's going to Arkansas Pine Bluff.
This is a big drive for the West right now, Mark. If they can get a touchdown here, and with the 12-point rules you were talking about earlier, they're going to get the ball back. And, you know, you can get right back in the game, and that's the beauty of some of the rules for this All-Star game. It's fan-friendly.
Tony Scheffler at the top of your screen. He's their big 6'5" receiver. Let's see if they perhaps throw the fade to him. Nope. Down the line, pitch out. Bart Bennett broke 1 tackle, but too many white shirts over there, and he is finally hauled down by John Wester, who's had a good game at the outside linebacker spot.
I like your thinking, though, Mark. I think we're going to see the fade. Here it is, the option. Better job of keeping the ball. Too much penetration. They had that one just defended very well. There was nowhere for Bennett to go. But I like your thinking when you said, watch for the fade. They got the big man Scheffler out there. They may come out in the same formation as they just did and try to get him isolated one-on-one. This time he's going to be at the bottom of the screen.
Let's see if they throw his way. 3rd down coming up, 3rd and about 3. They can still pick up a first down. That may change the play calling. Great cutback move, and they call it and keep it on the ground. They knew they had a chance to pick up the first down, and Bart Bennett takes it in for the touchdown.
That's a great call. It crossed me up upstairs. I'm thinking pass, pass, pass. Obviously, the East was the same thing. You get your pass rush mode up front, some lanes created, and Bart Bennett, you're going to see right up in the middle here. Nice job offensively, man on man. Bennett finds the hole into the end zone, and we're going to get a little ball game going here, Mark.
Yeah, that's good. That's what we want. Had a little bit of that last year when the West jumped out to the big lead on the East. And the East came back, made a game of it before losing 28-17. So they are going to go for 2 here, trailing 24-8. So 2 points brings them within 2 touchdowns. Bennett cuts it back, but didn't get in. Now there's a case, Rob Rubrick, where I might have thought about bringing in Scheffler and throwing a fade.
Yeah, because they're allowed to play their goal line defense. Everything's packed up in the middle. You run power I, but nothing was there.
Yep. They don't get the 2 points, but they get the touchdown, and it is 24-8. The East with the lead. 7:02 to go in the 3rd. Welcome back to Spartan Stadium, East Lansing. The West within 16 at 24-8, and because of the rules in this game, we have the 12-point rule, kind of like the mercy rule, I guess, in the Little League. You get the football back if you score and are still behind by 12 points or more. And in this case, the West behind 24-8, so they're going to get it back. You like that one?
Well, I love it. I wish we had when I played in Detroit for most of my 7 years. We had a lot closer games.
Well, this is an all-star game. It's even though certainly the West and the East, they each want to win, but still you want to showcase. You want to keep it interesting for the fans who are here and rooting on their favorite players and team.
I think they paid attention. 78,000 something.
78,000. All I know is that there's some real smart fans who are up underneath the overhang, out of the sun. So we'll try the kickoff here. Dave Rayner to kick it off. West will get it back. High kick. Again, it could be returned. Coming out about 8 yards into that end zone. Bumping off a tackle. Harrison stays on his feet, running right to the 20. What a return Wow, that was impressive. Jerome Harrison out of Kalamazoo Central, headed to Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, it'll probably help the Hurons take out the Ball State Cardinals once again. No, actually, we lost last year, but nice job. Sometimes better to be a pinball player than a football player. Harrison bringing the ball up, trying to get it into the wedge, taking it up in there. Going to see him get popped here a little bit, bounce back outside, hitting his own man, showing some good acceleration, getting everything that there was to get out of that play.
Well, the West with decent field position at their 31-yard line for Carlton Brewster. Brewster did a nice job leading the West into the end zone. Last series, handoff left side, Palkowski, the ball carrier, but John DeGiorgio, who's been rather quiet since the first quarter, made the tackle.
John DeGiorgio, number 47.
Well, out of the field, Rob, let's sit first of all down to Jennifer Hammond. Jen?
All right, you saw Jerome Harrison carrying the ball just a short time ago. He's headed to Eastern Michigan University. A lot of pressure, though, for him to head to Western. Jerome Purcell, a running back for Western Michigan. He's a record holder at my alma mater, and he decided not to go where Dad went. Mark?
Okay. Well, we got the MAC covered here today, don't we? East, West, and Ball State. Good play fake. But Carlton Brewster never saw that we may have an injured East player down on the field. That, to wait and see. Look, there might be LaPiccolo. And LaPiccolo, the 245-pounder, is on his back. Hopefully nothing serious. So we have 5:53 to go. We're in the third quarter. Spartan Stadium at East Lansing, the East on top 24-8. Shaded area of Spartan Stadium, high above the field as we are in the third quarter, 24-8, the East lead. And Matt LaPiccolo, the injured player for the East, was able to get up. Let's take a look at the injury here.
Comes in a little bit late here. You can see Matt LaPiccolo, number 76, just kind of roll up on himself. No one hits him. And the good news is he got up, was able to walk off the field. And besides Matt and his parents, I know Brian Kelly, the head coach of Grand Valley, is relieved because that's where he'll be playing in the fall. And you see Matt jogging there. It's good news for the Lakers.
Well, the big fellow looks like he's okay. Was flexing that right knee a little bit, but by the looks of things, he's going to get back in this football game. Third down and 17 coming up for the West. They trail 24-8. They got the football back after scoring a touchdown because of the 12-point rule in the All-Star game.
If you have a screen, you may want to use it here. Or next best thing, draw.
And the draw play didn't fool anybody. Jerome Harrison is nailed by Jeff Jones out of St. Martin de Porres High School. Headed to Southern Illinois. Saluki.
You can look right here, playing on the nose. Jones does a good job beating the center quickly enough. Because when you run a draw, Mark, that center, if you got a nose on him, he's going to let you commit as a defender and then run you that way. That's fine, but if you beat him clean as a nose man, you get in the backfield, then you can square up on the running back, and that's what Jones did that time. Nice swim move.
Jones, big lad, 6'2", 270. Oh, they'll have to punt it away. Andy Roy to do the punting. Can't block him, so no pressure. Wobbly kick.
Andy Roy punting for the West.
Grant Mason fields, but good coverage downfield, and he is brought down at the 40-yard line, maybe the 41. So the East will get it back. We got a flag back upfield. Let's see what that one's all about. Yellow Laundry back at the West 43.
Well, it's the first opportunity. We had to talk about Grant Mason at all. Fair catching the ball. Young man heading to Stanford. Coming from Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Fine career there.
Flipping call. And that's going to back the East up.
During the return, clipping. White team, 15 yards from the end of the run. First down, White.
Well, headed to Stanford. He'll have plenty of book work to do there, won't he?
Hey.
You got that right. Between Northwestern and Stanford, I choose Grand Valley.
Or Ball State. Or Ball State, that's right.
It's amazing, though. I think the coaches in the state of Michigan, the college coaches should give some kudos here because most of these kids, I'd say probably 90% or more, are staying in the state of Michigan. You know, we have one Holy Cross, Southern Illinois, and North Carolina, but for the most part, whether 3, 2, or 1 division, they're staying home.
You always like to see that. 26-yard line, that's where the East will start. Baker, deep handoff, a lot of penetration, but breaking off of it, Desmond Crenshaw, and he is drilled back inside the 15-yard line. That was destined for doom all the way. Jeff Carlson, the corner, came up to make the final hit.
Oh, it's nice to see Jeff kind of redeem. Not that he hasn't played well, he's just been pretty much outmanned physically, but if you want to tell your defensive backs to run through a tackle, and that's exactly what Jeff Carlson did that time. You can see the end of this play here. Crenshaw bops it outside. He thinks he's got a little room. Watch Carlson finish this right through him. Boom! Keeps his feet, drives. Nice play by the young man.
So it'll be second down and 22 yards to go. Dangerous territory here for young Matt Baker. They keep it on the ground wisely, and Crenshaw stopped at the 15 by Bill Ferris out of Kellogg. And there's on the West defense, there's a Josh Ferris and a Bill Ferris, but the names are spelled differently. Josh is F-A-R-R-I-S. Bill is F-E-R-R-I-S.
Yeah, but the coach of the West team, Bob Myers, made it easy because he put them both at defensive tackle, the same tackle, right, and he put their numbers 77 and 78. So
when he yells Ferris, they both start coming. 3rd and 21 out of the shotgun, Matt Baker. 3 receivers set. Wants to shovel it ahead. Does so to Crenshaw, looking for blocking downfield. And picks up an extra 4 on his own before being driven out near the 24-yard line by Chris Maxim, the 5'9" cornerback out of Rockford.
Crenshaw did a nice job here on the shovel pass. Once again, I think this will probably be one of their 3 plays they didn't divulge during the week. Baker tries to get the defender come up the field, shovels underneath the Crenshaw, gets about 5 extra yards, a little shake and bake at the end. A pretty nice series for the West defensively, getting the East to go 3 and out. They're going to get the ball back. The deep receiving, Mr. Maxim, ever dangerous.
An injury update. Jennifer, what do you got for us?
All right, well, we'll tell you, you don't see big number 59 in the middle there on the West defense. Billy Shanks out because he hyperextended his back. Todd Williams, number 99, and in his place. Mark?
Okay, Jen, thanks a lot. Punting situation. And high kick. And it's going to be fielded on the run. Marcus Ewing with men all around him, but great concentration. He takes it up to the 43-yard line. That's where the West will get it back. Let's see if they can take advantage. 3:18 to go in the 3rd. They trail it 24-8.
I think Marcus Ewing takes those Nike commercials to heart a little too much at No Fear. That time about 3 defenders around and catches on the fly. I really think Marcus Ewing, that young man from Johannesburg, Lewiston, might be one of our outstanding players here this afternoon. He's really, as a return man, in the secondary, we call his name, he's been around the ball a lot today.
Carlton Brewster stays in at quarterback for the West. Fullback gets the carry and minimal yardage, up maybe 45-yard line, goes Jimmy Steins out of Milan High School. Headed to Western Kentucky, a Hilltopper. There's one that got away. He's got good size, 6'1", 242, played for Steve Robb up at Milan. 2nd down and 8 for the 6-footer, Carlton Brewster. Motion man to the right, Clifton Quinn. Bart Bennett, who scored the touchdown for the West, takes it up near midfield.
Nice job.
Setting up 3rd and 3.
Nice job by Bart Bennett following the big man on the right side of the line, the counter tray. That's really the bread and butter play. It started years ago with the Washington Redskins, and then it spread through the NFL, through the college ranks. Now the high schools have adopted it, and it's really a successful play. You got to have linemen that can run, though, and you know you're going to get that in a game like this because these big kids that are here today are the best in the state, and these are kids with good feet that can pull.
3rd down coming up, big play. Bennett spinning. Nope, not going to get the first down. Stopped at the East 49-yard line. Let's see if the coach might go for it here on 4th down. What do you think, Rob?
He's thinking about it, Mark, right now. He's talking to his kids on the sideline.
I think he's going for it.
He's sending Greg Altamore in with the play, and he's leaving his offense in. I like it.
Oh, sure. Why not? Minute and a half to go in the third. You're down 24-8. You got to look to get a spark. So Altamore in there as one of the wide receivers up top of the screen. Bottom of the screen's the big 6'5" kid from Chelsea, Tony Scheffler. Motion man is Altamore. 4th down, they'll run it. Good call there. Bennett, 30, 25, 20. And a little misdirect call there, and a huge gain in 1st down. Boy, a nice call offensively. Bart Bennett, John Wren chases him down.
A big 4th down play for the West. Picking up Bart Bennett coming off, doing a nice job picking it up, and they went back to their bread and butter. They just ran a little bit of a counter tray inside. He does a nice job of finding the hole, getting in the hole. And you're gonna see right here that he just takes it. They pull the right guard, left guard. He gets on their back, turns it up the field.
So it is 1st and 10 at the East 17-yard line. The West knocking on the door, trailing 24-8. Altamore motions. They run to the left. Jerome Harrison, cutback move. Nifty little run by Harrison. And he'll take it all the way down to the 6-yard line.
The West with a little momentum.
You bet. First half they had just 52 yards of offense, but they picked it up here in the second half of the football game. Bennett, by the way, 14 carries for 64 yards, so nice game for him. And Harrison with the good run there.
Good feet. We were talking before the game to some of the coaches, and they were just really pleased with his toughness, but more than anything, they said he had tap dancer's feet that he could make you miss in a phone booth, and that time we saw that.
They run him again. He may have the touchdown. Harrison in the corner for the touchdown. Apropos, we're talking about the young man from Kalamazoo Central, Jerome Harrison, takes it in. The second rushing touchdown of the afternoon, and here in the third quarter for the West. And suddenly they are right back in this thing.
There it is. Look, Jerome Harrison does a nice job of getting up into the seam. He stretches the play, Mark, and then he cuts it back up underneath. He gets everything there is, and Eastern Michigan coach Woodruff is going to be elated because they are right now, they're a little bit tailback stressed. This young man may have a chance to come in and make an impact in the fall there. The tailback position has been up for grabs the entire last season. No one has stepped up to the front, so that might have been part of the decision why to go to Eastern, because they weren't committed to any tailback.
2-point play coming up. Fake toss. The quarterback running to the corner and getting the 2, Carlton Brewster. Boy, I tell you what, offensive play calling has surely been very, very crisp here in this third quarter for the Western squad. And they are within 8 points in this football game.
Well, this is just a naked boot, actually. They fake everything to the right. Brewster puts it on his hip and takes off, and he barely gets in. Oh, we're going to have a late holding call, though. They call it a holding penalty. This is going to come back.
Didn't see it. Sorry about that. We did not see the flag go down. So we'll hold off the kudos.
I think this will put him into a kicking situation.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the goal line, repeat, extra point.
Yep. Well, let's see if they... No, but they're still going to go for the 2.
Well, trailing by 10, this would make it, if he could convert, it's going to be an 8-point game, which is, a score and a 2-point conversion. But that's tough. They got the big man on top of the screen.
Top of the screen, Tony Scheffler. They haven't looked his way much in this game. They do now. They want Scheffler in the corner too far. Just a little beyond his reach in that left corner of the end zone. But good idea, just the execution didn't come off.
Yeah, Carlton Brewster's got to keep that ball in play. Look at nice isolation right here. Scheffler using his hand to get separation. Good coverage. the ball is thrown up, Chris Roberson does an excellent job forcing him out of the end zone. And when you're a quarterback, they're going to tell you, when you run a fade route, 90% of the time, Mark, when you throw it 5 yards out of the end zone, you're not going to catch it. That's what the coaches will give you that.
What was the percentage on that?
90.
90.
That's like, you know, about 90% of those putts you leave 5 feet short never go in.
I know that too well. Well, it's 24-14. The East leading by 10. Still 37 seconds to go in the third quarter, so suddenly the East squad trying to refocus here. Wilson back deep for the East. Roberson also back there, and here is the kickoff coming up. As we get the 11th man out on the kicking unit for the West. J.J. Danhoff to kick it off. Short kick. Fielded up at about the 70-yard line. Oh, man. Hello. It's one of those you just sit back and listen to. Jimmy Steins with the hit.
So you want your young kids to grow up to be football players, huh? Let's watch this. Roberson coming up the field, gets by Maxim, but watch, goes to the decapitation shot, like the old Lion Night Train Lane.
Or Jimmy the Hatchet David.
Jimmy the Hatchet David. I think we're dating ourselves here.
I know I am. So the ball at the 21-yard line for Bobby Martin out of Allen Park. Back to throw it. Slant, that's been successful for them, and it's completed up near the 37-yard line to Dan Wilson. Wilson out of Livonia Stevenson High School. I like these quarterbacks for the East.
Very sharp, very
sharp. Yep,
very crisp. Good feet. Their footwork has been phenomenal on their three-step drops. They're stepping, they get their shoulders turned, they step into their throws, and that's exactly what you look for, the fundamentals.
Now he bumps off the handoff, and maybe a yard for Adam Servey. Out of Monroe Jefferson High School, a Class B school, might be the final play of the third. It's going to be third or second and long coming up. And that indeed is the end of the third quarter on a wonderful day here in East Lansing at Spartan Stadium. The East 24, the West 14.
The Michigan High School All-Star Football Game. Brought to you by UAWGM.
And 9 for the East at their 39-yard line. Bobby Martin, the quarterback. Puts Dan Wilson in motion. Out of the eye, rolling left. Martin can do that well. Throws, completes, and a first down out to Wilson. Martin, an excellent rollout quarterback.
And what you want to do with a rollout quarterback is when you get him out the pocket, give him something to read. Now watch this. As he gets out of the pocket, they're going to drag Wilson from the slot underneath. They ran off with Stewart, and that opens up a nice little soft area just behind, in front of the corners and outside the linebackers. And Martin, nice job squaring up his shoulders, delivering the ball. He's shown himself well heading to Wayne State.
Well, he's Flutie-esque at 5'10", if he's that tall. First down at the West 49. Throwing behind Kahari Stewart out of Detroit Finney.
Martin's pass intended for Kahari.
So it'll be second down and 10. Kahari Stewart headed to Iowa, so he'll be a Hawkeye. He was an all Detroit player, is named by the Detroit News and the Free Press. There's a look at quarterback Bobby Martin, whose coach is the head coach of this All-Star game. Tom Hoover knew what this youngster could do, and happy to have him on the All-Star squad for the East. They'll run it. Good burst up the middle. All the way down to the 33-yard line goes Chris Lamazny. Good run by Lamazny. Chris Maxim and Art Anderson make the stop on the Chippewa Valley grad. Boy, did he roll up some big numbers, state records, over 2,800 yards rushing, and he was 3 shy of the touchdown mark, had 49 of them.
A nice trap bop like Chris Curry springing Lamazni that time. That's what you want, a quick hitter. You need a back that can't dilly-dally. You got that trap that holds don't even open for a split second, that small window, get in it and go.
In his senior season, he had 200-plus rushing yards in 11 of 13 games. He gets the call again, but this time trapped behind the line of scrimmage. Steve Bednarik in on the initial hit, and then got some help from his teammates. Josh Ferris in there as well.
Bill Ferris also did a nice job, number 78, at getting penetration, making everything bubble. And if you can do that inside, make everything bubble to the outside, it slows everything down and allows the pursuit to get to it and break the play down. So nice job by the Ferris. I want to say the Ferris boys, but they're no relation. The two Ferris fellas inside.
Second down, let's call it 11 at the West 35-yard line. He's leading 24-14 in the fourth. A minute gone. Lamazni in motion. The throw comes over to the slant receiver, and that's a first down to the 19-yard line for who else? Braylon Edwards. When you need a big play, hit the big youngster out of Bishop Gallagher. What a first half he had, a record-setting first half. 4 catches, 129 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Well, he earned himself a rest until the fourth quarter here, but once again, inside, and the defensive backs have to play off. He's proven that he can get deep on him, that he can run by him. So your biggest fear is giving up the bombs. So you start giving up a little bit more cushions as an offensive coordinator. You call a little bit slant underneath. You know, you're danged if you do, danged if you don't.
So the East on the move. They run it up inside, and they are really chewing up the yardage on this series. This has been an impressive series. Adam Serby, the carrier that time. Chris Wakeman in on the stop out of Sault Ste. Marie. I think that's the first time we've called his name today. He's headed to Toledo. Looking at his plays is Bobby Martin. Now the defense, as we said, we pointed out, they have to be provided all of the plays except 3. Second down and 6 inside the 15-yard line. Bobby Martins with 2 touchdown passes already in the game. The handoff going inside of the 9-yard line to Lamazni. So Chris Lamazni, the workhorse in this series. Colby Dykhouse in on the stop.
You're just seeing straight power football right now. No more trapping. They just came off the ball, straight ahead, fire off. Tell your offensive lineman, you know, as a coach, there's nothing as offensive lineman, like nothing better, Mark, than you to say, okay, we're going to run the ball. We're putting on your shoulders, nothing fancy. You come off, fire off. You know, I know you work with Brandon. He's a big believer in that too. But make those big horses go. And once they get a rhythm like a quarterback does, if you can start running the ball, they start feeling confident, get that pounding going. That's what they're doing right now in the interior. They're just playing a little smash mouth.
Chris Maxim coming off the field might be a little shaken up. He comes to the sideline. I think he's got some blood on his, may have some blood on his jersey as well. Let's send it down. Jennifer Hammond. Jennifer?
Well, Mark, it seems every year we see more and more of those decals all over the helmets. You see Chris Lamazny's helmet is well decorated. All the kids come here for the camp for the All-Star game, and they exchange the decals, and I guess whoever goes home with the most wins, huh?
I guess so. Lamazni, 10 carries, 54 yards on the day. Gets it again, little cutback move, and he just fights his way down to the 2-yard line. That's some good hard running. He's a 195-pounder, only 5'9", but runs with power.
And there's not a lot of room inside right now because the West squad is starting to walk their linebackers up pretty tight into that goal line type of defense. So you got like 7-8 people. Let's look at Chris, 195 pounds. So he's put together pretty well at 5'9". That's a load. A lot of leverage, but the West is walking up, really trying to stuff down the inside the line. But it just shows that big fellas up front for the East are starting to control things because you got 7 in the box and you can still run the ball inside, you're winning the battle.
Well, a touchdown here could well put this game out of reach for the West, so they've got to stiffen up at the goal line. First and goal there at the 2. And they try to power it in and do. Touchdown, the East. Takes it in again. Jack Gittler, the big 240-pounder out of Berkeley High School. Just powered his way into the end zone.
Coming off the field, elated. Morris inside the center. They're getting some push. We're going to see right here. Look at the guys up front. Good push, good drive block. And that's what, you know, when you can do that, you start controlling, you really demoralize the opponent, and you get that type of push inside. And right now, the West defenders look a little bit tired up front.
And now the extra point, and that makes it a 31-14 lead for the East. Only 9:22 left for the West to try to salvage this one. They got a long way to come back, trailing 31-14 here at East Lansing. And that was the year the West rolled up 35 points, which is the All-Star game record for most points. Well, the East has 31, and they lead it 31-14. Dave Rayner to kick it off. Thought the West was going to get back into this one, Rob, but boy, the East, I think you hit it on the head. They're just kind of taking over this game. They're out muscling the West.
Well, they made their run, but the East quelled that by taking the ball and stuffing down their throats down the field. And I think the most tired person on the field right now might be Dave Rayner, the kicker. He's had a lot of action here this afternoon, and it's fared well.
There's a sideways looking kick. Harrison having trouble with it, and as a result, that was the Billy Kilmer look there. Catch either end, the old quarterback with the Redskins.
Like a flounder on the dock.
Catch either end of the football. And Harrison couldn't quite do it. Luckily, and I think very wisely, just fell on it. He said, I'm not going to take the risk. We're already down by 17. So they're backed up to the 7-yard line, which is something Bob Myers didn't exactly relish, but got to go with it. Carlton Brewster remains the quarterback. Matt Bonet is the other quarterback for the West. Nope, Bonet is in there. Thought I saw. Well, Brewster's in as they've got him out as a wide receiver here, don't they? Yes, they do. End around to Brewster. Well, that didn't fool anybody. They had Carlton Brewster in the game, but they lined him up as a wideout, and Bonet was the quarterback.
Well, when you have both quarterbacks in the game, if the defense is alert and knows what's going on, they're looking either for some type of maybe pitch pass with Brewster. They know you're going to incorporate him somehow into the play. At that time, they weren't fooled. We could hear him yelling reverse before the play even started down on the sideline. So some heads-up play by the West or by the East defense.
Well, there goes one of their 3 plays down the tubes. Second down, 13. They run it up inside, and Harrison busted up across the 12-yard line. Good run up in. Tackle made by Kenru Wright out of Henry Ford High School, leading tackler.
I think Harrison's done a nice job maximizing his attempts and getting everything there was. He is available. Nice job taking up in there, accelerating through the hole. But I think it's going to be taken back here. There's actually unsportsmanlike on the east side.
The thing I like about him is he runs north and south.
Exactly.
He just hits it and goes. Doesn't dance around east and west.
On the way the Eagle offensive line performed last year, that's a good thing. Those holes weren't open in a long time.
So the penalty mark off, take a look and see what it is. Oop, I see what we got going there. Really just trying to get,
a little bit of the business. Give him the business late.
Gave him a little business there. Hank Stram would say a little business.
Yeah, John DeGiorgio got caught with a little late shove.
So that gives them a first down. But a big deficit to make up. Bonet going long and incomplete. Tried to get it to Tony Scheffler. Scheffler got away with a push in the back as he pushed Grant Mason.
That's a matchup that you think you can exploit because Scheffler with his outstanding size and Grant Mason only going 5'11", but that's an athlete. And did you see how he turned and really started playing the ball? And he has excellent speed from Orchard Lake St. Mary's heading to Stanford. It's a big time player. And it's really a shame you got such a kid with Scheffler's size and you really can't do anything with it because they can just pretty much lock you out of the game with Grant Mason.
Second down and 10. Try to run it. And Harrison is wrapped up, nowhere to go. Tackle was made and he's hauled down. So now it is 3rd and long, and it seems like they have been in those situations all day long.
That was big Matt Lentz, number 68, heading to University of Michigan, came in with 6'7", 338 and a half. He tipped him at. Going to U of M out of Ortonville, Brandon.
Well, I'll tell you what, Michigan gets those big linemen, don't they? Lions got one of them, Jeff Backus. Back to throw, Bonet, ball is deflected. Mohamed Bazi got the deflection. He's played a solid game today.
Mohamed's done a nice job going sideline to sideline early in the game, scraping on the toss sweeps and the off tackle runs, and this time showing he can also stay in the passing game by dropping back, showing good lateral movement and dropping from the linebacker position. Also heading to Wayne State.
Andy Roy to come out to punt, we presume. 7:27 left, 4th and 11. 31-14, the East with a comfortable lead here at Spartan Stadium. The sun has gone behind the clouds here. And the left footer, ooh, he almost shanked that one off the side. Wobbly kick, but he got a good bounce. Up the sideline it goes. Got an extra 10 yards out of it to the 35-yard line. Not happy with himself, Andy Roy, but turned out to be okay.
It's be interesting to see how the West defense responds. Now, the last series, the East just really took it to him physically up front, pushing it down the field, run after run after run, where they were pretty much beaten in the first half through the air. With the exception of the one pass in the last drive to Braylon Edwards, they just pounded it down the field, and sometimes that can be a little bit demoralizing. We see how the big fellas up front react.
Matt Baker in at quarterback. He had one of the 3 first-half touchdown passes to Braylon Edwards. Now they want to run some clock here. 7:19 to go. Jack Gittler is the lone setback. Pump fake, and no, they're going long with it. How about this? We got a penalty flag down as Robert Strickland, the intended receiver, was being held up there by Chris Maxim, or at least the official says so.
I think that was a little bit thin. I think Maxim did a pretty nice job. There was a little contact with his hand on Strickland, but he pretty much cut him off. He was running with him stride for stride and just bodied him up a little bit. I thought they might let it go, but he gets nailed and he's not happy.
And there is the call. Baker, by the way, just 3 of 12 throwing the football, 39 yards and a touchdown.
See right here, Maxim, does he turn and look for the ball? He never really does, and that might be what got him. They had their hands together as they were running down the field, and I think if he had turned his head back, he might have gotten away with it, but by not locating the ball.
On the red, 15 yards, first down.
Doing a terrific job down on the field. Jennifer Hammond. Jennifer.
All right, thanks, Mark. And you see big Robert Strickland, of course, headed to Michigan State next year to play football, but he was all-state basketball at Detroit Denby. Don't be surprised if you see Tom Izzo at a few more Spartan football games come this fall.
Might be a walk-on candidate, perhaps.
The cupboards are raided at MSU here this past season.
But I tell you what, Tom's done a nice job. He just landed 2 or 3 kids. But you're right, boy, I tell you, Zach Randolph, I saw Zach play for the Portland Trailblazers Summer League team. He had 28 points and 10 rebounds in a Summer League game. He's a 6'9". He's just got a tremendous upper body. And, you know, size-wise in the NBA, 6'9" is, you know, you might call him a tweener, but, boy, he's strong. Muscle his way up there. 2nd down at 8. Play fake, good one, Baker. Getting protection, firing right sideline, and it is caught at the 36-yard line by Braylon Edwards again. And he was sent flying into the wall, but gets up fairly okay.
Braylon Edwards does one thing for a young receiver that not a lot of them do. He catches absolutely everything in his hands. A good look coming right at you, into the hands, into the wall, over the bench.
And you know what? He right in the lower back. You know what else is that he got both feet down. Of course, you only need one, but he got both of them down.
Well, as good as he looked here today, someday he may need to get both of them in.
Yeah, I think he will. I think you are correct, sir. First down for the East at the West 36-yard line. A comfortable 31-14 lead for the East All-Stars with 6:25 to go. Baker to throw the slant. Is it a catch and fumble or an incomplete pass? They're going to rule it incomplete pass. Desmond Crenshaw, the intended receiver.
That was a bang-bang play as Matt Baker did a nice job sticking the slant. Crenshaw was coming out of the slot position. Baker just steps, he delivers it in there, but the officials said that he never had position. We're going to take a look right here. Baker steps, sees the lane, sticks it in there. 1, 2. But you know, we see his backside. He could have been bobbling it on the other side, but looked pretty much like a catch. What do you think, Mark?
I'll defer to you.
You're Switzerland, huh?
I'll defer to you. I'll remain neutral. Marcus Ewing, the man who put the pop on him there. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 at the West 36-yard line. Matt Baker, the quarterback. Fires, and that ball's deflected up in the air. Wanted to throw the slant pass, but didn't have the chance. Somebody got a hand up. Sent that thing spiraling end over end.
Well, they're going by formation now. Wherever they go to the wide side, they're going to the single receiver.
Send it down to Jennifer Hammond. Jennifer?
I'll reserve judgment, Mark, on whether or not they're questionable calls, but you can hear the West squad coaches saying, let's look up to the board. They want to see the replay an awful lot. And earlier I overheard Bob Myers saying, they're killing me. I'm not sure who he's talking about.
Hank Strand.
The lament of the losing coach. Oh, boy, look out. Might have been the hard count there by Matt Baker. He got a slap on the head from Scott Golem, his left guard, saying nice job.
Prior to the snap, offsides on the defense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Who's the best hard count quarterback you ever remember? Anybody?
I'll tell you, Joe Ferguson, I played with Joe's last couple years in Detroit. He could get you to pull off. All those guys that southern drawl for some reason, they got that little crank in their voice. But Dan Marino may be the best I've ever heard. But Dan got away with the head bob too. Him and Elway both.
No
you know,
question.
It's like the Jordan rules in football. They got to move their head more than every other quarterback, and that's tough.
3rd and 5 coming up. High formation. Baker hands it off. Crenshaw gets through, cuts it to the left. Can he get the corner? He dropped the football. Picked up by the West. Maxim has it, and we're going the other way. Chris Maxim. Holy mackerel. What a break for the West.
Chris Maxim. You know, it's nice to see the young man redeem himself. He got hit with the pass interference call a couple plays ago on the long one down the field to Stewart. That time, that is an absolutely incredible play by Maxim. He's going to be left out on an island. Him and Crenshaw trying to get blocked there by Edwards. He sticks his hands and strips the ball, comes back, gets the ball right here, sticks it in, rips it, gets it, and then he goes, and he comes about a step away from breaking this.
Yeah, Braylon Edwards was just a little late coming up to block. I think he thought the play was going up inside. Rolling left, Bonet, ball slapped back at him and hits the surface. Matt Bonet had it knocked down.
Well, Matt Bonet is getting an early introduction. What it's going to be like when he gets to the collegiate level is that everyone can run. When he was at Grand Ledge last year, he had advantage as a quarterback, having that speed that he could get the corner, buy himself time, because he could outrun most of the defenders on the defense. In a game like this, everyone can run, and that's why they're all going on to play in the fall.
Zucchero knocked it down out of Frazier, headed to Wayne State. 2nd down and 10 at the West 38. They trail it 31-14 with 5:57 to go. Bonet hands off. Bennett running up to the 41 or so. Kenrue Wright made the play. Bart Bennett out of Birch Run. Won a state title in wrestling. So he's an all-around athlete.
They have great outlet shopping, too.
Yes, they do.
Oh. Well, I tell you,
I try to stay out of those
stores. I try to keep my wife out of them. That's the problem. I tell you, though, Mark, they got to put the ball in the air if they want to make a run here, trailing by 17 with 5 and running.
Yeah, questionable call there. 3rd down coming up. Oh, how about this? Bart Bennett almost stripped out of there as he's wrapped up by Chad Steele. Going to Saginaw Valley is Chad Steele, and he made a good play there. Good, strong inside linebacker. That's what position he'll play at Saginaw. He was listed as the nose man for the East. Well, I don't know about those last two calls by the West. Now they're obviously forced to go for it on 4th down and 6.
4th down.
Out of the eye, play action, rolling right. Bonet fires and incomplete as Malachi Wofford not able to haul it in.
That time, Matt Bonet, I know he wants to show he can throw, but he's rolling to his right. He's a left-handed quarterback, and I tell you, he was covered pretty well. He may have been better off, Mark, to tuck it, run, and pick up the first down in that type of situation.
4:41 to go here in the All-Star game. The East 31, the West 14. We'll be back. Mark Champion back with you along with Rob Rubick, Jennifer Hammond. We are at East Lansing. The game next season will be played at Michigan Stadium, where the University of Michigan Wolverines play, because they are changing this over from artificial surface to the real stuff here, and they just don't think that the grass is going to be ready in time in late July.
So is that?
Let's send it down on the field. Speaking of Jennifer Hammond, Jen.
All right, Mark. Well, when we talked to Tom Hoover earlier this week, he said that one of the key motivators for his team was he showed them the film of last year's game. The East, of course, whooped up on early, and they were making sure that they did a better job of not letting that happen again this year. So that, I think, was the big key to get his team ready.
Mission accomplished there, I would say. Yeah, that was a surprise last year. It was Jermaine Gonzalez was the East quarterback, and he had just an exceptional year at Orchard Lake. He never threw an interception all year long, came out in that game, threw 2 of them. And that really ignited the West en route to their victory 28-17.
Don't hit him too hard, fellas.
Yeah, don't hit him too hard. Well, you don't hear that often. What's that all about? 2nd down and 8 at the West 40. Matt Baker sticks in there at the quarterback position. Motion man Lemazny. And they'll keep it on the ground. Gittler running hard. Man, oh man, does he run hard. Picked up the first down, got it down to the 31-yard line. Jack Gittler played for Tim Schaefer at Berkeley High School and 4-year starter there. Also a pretty good punter.
You see right here, nice block inside by Morris, getting a little bit of push. Gittler just find a little bit of seam, and right now that's 240 pounds, getting a little bit of momentum that you're trying to stop on an angle tackle. That's not going to happen. Good leg drive by Gittler.
Steve Bednarik on the hit. I really think there's no question the West has just run out of steam. The guys along the line, the offensive line, are controlling this football game right now. 3.5 minutes left in it. 31-14 East leading. Keep it on the ground. Lemazny running up inside. Boy, just taking red shirts with him. Close to another first down. Jeremy Cochran made the play out of Montrose High School, headed to Grand Valley.
They're starting to go to the right side of the line. They got big Matt Lentz in there, you know, opening up the holes. And, you know, you've got 335 pounds. I don't care if he blocks you or not. If he leans on you, you're in trouble. You disappear. Now, he's in the clips.
I'll tell you, they're 2 right tackle. Matt George was the other one, 6'4", 280. They had 2 very good tackles on this East squad. No hurry whatsoever for the East. They're up by 17. 2nd down and 1. Gittler, the setback. They've got Lemazny in a slot to the right. Gittler gets the call, and the big fella rumbling up inside. Takes it down to the 12-yard line.
Well, that was Matt Baker taking things into his own hand. Whatever the play was, he checked out of it. He saw the way the defense was shifted strong to the formation side, that there was low opening backside for the fullback trap. And I know Gittler appreciates that. You know, the entire game we never called his name at fullback running. He just block, block, block. Now here in the 4th quarter, as the game's winding down, you want to control the ball. Then you bring the fresh legs of the big fullback in, and they don't always get the credit, you know, like Corey Schlesinger. You know, you pound, pound, pound the entire game. They like to run a little bit, too.
Well, Tom Hoover said, I asked him some of the players he thought stood out in practice this week, and he said Gittler was one of them. Definitely impressed by him. He's showing a little bit of it now in the late stages of this football game. 2 minutes to go. Martin's now in at quarterback and hands off to Lemazny. Takes it inside of the 4-yard line, so Bobby Martin has come in the middle of the series. East trying to tack on what would be a record for the All-Star Classic. The previous mark at 99, 35 points by the West squad. Down on the field now. Jennifer, what do you got?
All right, Coach Bob Myers at this point in time hoping for a turnover, Mark. Of course, once they get the ball back on offense, he said you probably won't see another series with back-to-back running plays. They are going to have to go deep, Mark.
Yeah, I still can't figure out what he did the last time or why he did it. Handoff up inside, just denied from the end zone as Adam Serby. They're spreading the wealth on the East offense. All the youngsters getting a chance to carry that football in this series. We've had Gittler and Serby and Lamazny. Clock, well, minute 13. Stop right now. Now they'll wind it. West changing up on the fly, bringing in 6 semi-fresh bodies. Well, the first half, it was the Braylon Edwards show. 3 touchdown catches in the opening half for the future Michigan Wolverine. We get a timeout call by the West. 51 seconds to go in the football game. Braylon Edwards, a huge day, a record-setting day for him. Touchdown catches in a game as well as yardage that he rolled. Well, actually, the yardage, he didn't set a record there, but he did 4 touchdowns. He had 5 catches for 135 yards overall. I was looking at some of the records for this game, and he's off a ways as far as receiving yards go. So it's been an enjoyable day. I think the fans have had a good time. There's like an entire football team.
The Stags.
Stags.
Wherever they're from, I'm not sure. It's a nice day for the fans to come out here. We had beautiful weather, Mark. A pretty competitive football game for the most part. We've got a chance to watch a few of the stars of tomorrow of their favorite colleges in the area, from Western to Eastern to Michigan State. It's going to be fun to follow. This is my first time doing this game. It'll be fun to follow some of these young men's careers now and keep tabs on them over the next 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, the record for receiving yardage, Robert Aginski, 175 yards on 10 catches, including a touchdown, played with Mount Morris back in 1989 for the West. Here we go, and Lamazny, did he get that football across the plane? No signal. Looked like he got that football stretched out, but nope.
I don't think he's going to get a really break here when you're winning 31-14. I think the officials want to keep it ticking too.
Half a minute left. Nose of the football just shy of the goal line.
Nice look here. A handoff. Lamazny doesn't see a lot, but right at the end now they may rule he was down, but he does reach. Looks like he does get the ball in, Mark, unless they ruled his knee down.
So you've got Serby and Lamazny in the eye behind the quarterback Bobby Martin. Lamazny again, and second effort, touchdown East. And they have set a record for this all-star game for points scored.
It would be nice to sit up here and be able to illustrate all these plays we've been watching the second half, but it's nothing fancy. You just got big people on big people, not much of a push. Really defended pretty well. Lamazny just kind of bounces off down the line of scrimmage until he finds a soft spot, and then he just gets in and gets a touchdown.
16 carries, 82 yards, and a touchdown for Lamazny. So he's had a nice day today. Zeke Cisco, our statistician out of Battle Creek, Lakeview. He was on the coaching staff in this all-star game last year. The extra point tacks on another, 38-14. Joe Coletta out of Muskegon Oak Ridge, assistant football coach there, has been our spotter today. He's done a great job. I want to thank both fellas. Been a lot of fun working with you, Mr. Rubik.
I've enjoyed it, Mark.
First time we worked together. We're going to work together during the Detroit Lions football season on the radio side.
I won't get to see your handsome face, though. We'll be,
I've got a face for radio, but somehow I made it here.
I got hair for it, definitely. I'd like to thank my brother, made the trip. Fred came all the way down from Rapid River in the Upper Peninsula to make this weekend trip with me, and I've enjoyed it. And it's been a thrill. I don't know next year though if they move it back to Ann Arbor. I'm going to probably get bumped for Brandy because he can't come into Spartan Stadium being a former Wolverine. He'd start bleeding maize and blue and have to rush him to the hospital.
Yeah,
so.
He broke out in a sweat doing the game here last year.
Well, he breaks out in a sweat in the middle of the winter, but that's
the interesting thing is the Brandstatter name is a famous one in Michigan State athletic history. His brother Art Brandstatter was just one of the best athletes in Michigan State history. Somehow Brandy ended up at an amazing blue. So 38-14, 8 seconds left in this one. The East will win it. They will break the tie, lead the series 11-10. More importantly, they will snap a 2-game losing streak. No team in this series has ever lost more than 2 games in a row, so the East stopped that possibility with the victory here today.
We got to look on the end zone. We have some surprise visitors.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe the best reception of the day. Braylon Edwards might not have it. Look at that.
Oh, we have a wedding.
Some of those guys could play.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have the wedding here, or we had the wedding. I'm not sure what. Here's the kickoff. Kahari Stewart kicked it off, just kind of slaps it down around there. Picked up by Marcus Ewing, and here he comes. Look out, stays on his feet up to the 39, and that'll do it. Late flag comes out, meaningless at this point. Or is it?
I can't end the game on a defensive penalty.
Oh, that's right.
A face mask.
You know, that's right. You cannot.
Maybe they'll make an exception.
I hope they do.
That bride's probably a little bit anxious sitting in the end zone, her and her husband. I'm not sure, or excuse me, the groom may not, it's given him about 5 more minutes maybe to hightail it.
Mr. Ruby. All right, let's see if they wave this one off. Jim Stein, our referee. Big personal foul face mask. And nope, we're going to run one more play at least.
Personal foul, face mask, White's team. Time has expired. There's one untimed down. First down, red.
I wish they would have done that with my 40, untimed it.
Well, unless they come up with a 24-point play on this one, this is just academic. Here's the replay. Oh, yes, sirree.
Inside the helmet, and that part in the high school is considered the face mask, so good call by the officials. Did a nice job. They let the kids play for the most part today, with the exception of the illegal defenses.
I think, by the looks of things, they might just run it out. Yep, nope, play action. And Bonet throws it away, and that'll be the final play of the game. Thought maybe he might just hand it off and head to the locker room. And so the East has broken a 2-game losing streak. They've come away with the tie-break victory here this afternoon. Trophy presentation for the East squad coming up next. The East 38 and the West 14 at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing.